from Detroit. The third game of the Stanley Cup Finals at the Detroit Olympia between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Detroit Red Wings. Brought to you by Imperial Oil Limited and Esso dealers, agents, and distributors from coast to coast.
Hello, Canada and hockey fans in the United States. Bill Hewitt here at the Detroit Olympia. And the Leafs are coming out of the ice for the first period of this fourth game of the Stanley Cup Finals. Detroit Red Wings will be out momentarily. Maple Leafs wearing white, defending the goal to my left. And Detroit coming out now, led by Terry Stachek, to my right. Fourth game of the Stanley Cup Finals. Leafs are leading in the series 2-1, winning both games at home. And Detroit winning their first game at home. They're announcing the lineups to start the game. The referee tonight, number 4, Vern Buffy. Alman Stasiak and Floyd Smith will start for Detroit. Keon, Duff, and Armstrong for the Maple Leafs. Stanley and Horton on the defense. Gadsby and Marcel Pronovo for Detroit. And now we'll have the national anthem. Set to start the first period here at the Detroit Olympia. And the fans are still coming in. Cloudy, not too cool in the Detroit today. Vern Buffy is the referee, and he calls the players to center ice. Goes right back to Alan Stanley, over here to Tim Horton. Pass off the boards, goes to the Detroit blue line where it's shot out. George Armstrong coming up with it. A foot pass for Dick Duff. Too well covered. It bounces, though. He goes after it. Ran into Floyd Smith. Puck is in the corner. Vic Stasiak shoots it out over the line, and Stanley moves up. He takes a long shot into the Detroit zone. Stachek stopping it. Marcel Pronovo watched by Keon. Duff checked him, trying to center it in front of the net. Normie Elman goes to the corner. He's checked. Stanley moves up, jams into his man. Keon wraps it right back into the corner. Bill Gadsby trying to get away from George Armstrong. A pass for Stasiak goes down the ice. It's going over the red line. Horton will touch it. Icing will be the call. Face-off in the Detroit zone to the right. Doug Blackley's coming out now on the defense with Marcel Pronovo. That's number 5, replacing Bill Gadsby. No other changes on the ice at the moment. Keon, Duff, and Armstrong, Horton, Stanley for the Maple Leafs in white. Run the face-off. The puck is in the corner. Normie Ullman behind the net. Shot it on the boards for Vic Stasiuk. Horton saps it. Shoots it right back in again. Duff races after it. Takes a shot right on. Stasiuk stopped that. It goes into Stasiuk in the corner. Tries to get it out. He does. Duff stopped him, and Horton turns. Keon couldn't trap it, and the puck goes back to the Leaf blue line and into the Leaf zone where Duff has it. He shoots it down the ice. Marcel Pronovo back for it. Got it around on the boards to Floyd Smith to Normie Ullman. Floyd Smith was checked by Stanley and knocked down. Doug Barkley clears it in, goes after it. Bauer came out of his net, cleared it off the boards, but not out. Then Armstrong got it out. Floyd Smith then to Vic Stasiuk. His long shot was caught by Bauer off the target. George Armstrong to Duff. Duff with Keon. Shoots it over the line. Stasiuk stopping it off the target. Doug Barkley to Vic Stasiuk. Up with Gordie Howe. To Ullman on the left wing. Too well covered by Bond. Gordie Howe. Pass over to Doug Barkley and the shot, and Bauer knocks it out to the side. A clearing pass to the blue line. Doug Barkley's shot again was stopped by Bauer. Bob Bond, just a wrist shot to center, is deflected. Ullman having difficulty. Ran into Mahamlich. Howe on the right wing, shoots it into the Leaf zone. Bond clearing it for Stewart. Stewart nearly passes it right in front of his own net. Alex Delvecchio is checked, and away goes Mahamlich. Mahamlich up at center. Out to the Detroit line. Shot it in. Stasiuk caught it. Steered it into the corner. Kelly keeps it in with a shot to the opposite wing. And Parker McDonald clears it out to Alex Delvecchio for Gordie Howe. Here's a shot. He scores! Gordie Howe. On a long shot. Have papers on the ice. That one a loaded Johnny Bauer. Two minutes and 54 seconds. Alex Delvecchio and Parker McDonald assisting. That shot was just too hard to handle for Johnny Bauer. And it went right through his glove into the net. So Detroit jump off to an early lead. 1-0. For Gordie Howe, that's his 7th playoff goal. Giving Detroit a 1-0 lead. Still scraping up the ice. Couple of omelets out there again. And some paper down at the Leaf end they'll have to come down and pick up. Scoring play, Gordie Howe, Alex Delvecchio, and Parker McDonald assisting. The official time, 2:54. Red Wings fighting tonight to even the series, trailing 2-1. And opening the scoring in this first period at the 2:54 mark. The referee, Vern Buffy, number 4, Liza Matt Pavlich, number 5, Ron Wicks, number 11. Now they've just about finished scraping up the ice in the Detroit end. players are just skating around. Apparently there's a lot of egg over there inside the Detroit blue line, and they're still working on it. Now then, the players are going to their respective benches. Now we have some more egg on the ice by the Detroit net, just out in front by the edge of the circle. The attendants are working overtime early. And this could be a long night. You have to make sure that all of the debris is picked up. The players do not accidentally step on anything with their skates. Now then, referee Vern Buffy calls the teams to center ice. 1-0 Detroit. Alex Del Vecchio, Packer McDonald, and Gordie Howe. Fulford with Shack and Nevin. And now coming out is Alex Faulkner with Andre Pronovo and Bruce McGregor. On the face-off, Nevin gives it back to Stanley. Stanley up for Fulford to Shack into the corner. Shack races after it. Sotchak came out of the net. Shack bumped into him. Fulford ran into Alex Faulkner, and Bruce McGregor has it. His pass for Faulkner hit the back of his skate, gets it over for McGregor. McGregor was hit by Stanley and knocked out. Fulford. A long pass for Nevin, hit his stick. Andre Pronovo handed it right to Horton. Horton's pass stopped by Alex Faulkner. He was hit by Nevin, and Nevin went down. Now then, Fulford runs into Faulkner as Nevin gets a break on the right wing. Pete Goigan, number 18, into the corner. A long pass on the right wing for Bruce McGregor, hit the back of his skate. Nevin runs into McGregor. Faulkner's hit again by Fulford. Bill Gadsby to Andre Pronovo. His pass at center goes right to Shack. Tapping it over the line. Pete Goigan, number 18, behind the Detroit net. Play is called, and there will be a face-off in the Detroit zone because Goigan was holding it behind the net, delaying play. Now the face-off is in the Detroit zone to the right. Fulford with Shack and Nevin. Horton and Stanley on the defense, and now it's Packer McDonald, Alex Del Vecchio, and Gordie Howe. Doug Barkley and Marcel Pronovo. 1-0 Detroit. At the 4:12 mark, there's a shot, that one high and wide of the Detroit net. A curling pass out at center. Jack shoots it into the Detroit zone and goes behind the Detroit net, and Terry Sotchuk leaves it there for Doug Barkley, number 5. A long pass over here for Packer McDonald, too far. Slides down the ice, and Horton's back for it. Pass to Fulford. Fulford stopped by Marcel Pronovo. He's up over the leaf line, and his pass to Shack. It's fed up to Nevin. Nevin going over the line. Tries to get around Doug Barkley. Pass it right in front, and Fulford comes up with it. Took his shot. Sotchuk steering it right back into the corner. Packer McDonald is hit. Horton to Nevin. Nevin shot it around behind the net. Fulford after it. Doug Barkley beat him to it. Sotchuk steered it into the corner by shooting it there. Horton stopped by Packer McDonald, and Packer McDonald long pass to Del Vecchio. Back to Packer McDonald. Here's the shot. He hit the post. Packer McDonald hit the post. Shot goes to the corner. Bauer to Horton. He's checked. Del Vecchio lets one go, and Fulford comes up with it. He just hits it out to center ice. Leafs changing on the go. A pass for Alex Del Vecchio is offside. This game is coming to you direct from the Detroit Olympia.
A real buy for motoring shoppers. Kodak 8 movie camera, only $19.99 at Esso dealers now.
We have played 5 minutes and 35 seconds of the first period. 1-0 Detroit. Puck hit a skate, Army Elman's skate, and went into the Leaf bench, so there's no further play, and a face-off outside the blue line. Elman with Stasiak and Floyd Smith, and Keon, Dick Duff, and George Armstrong. On the face-off, Dick Duff, turning in his own blue line. Up the center, flip one that hit Goigan. Duff shoots it into the Detroit zone. Sawchuk out of the net, scoops into the corner. Floyd Smith passed it. Duff took his shot, and that was stopped by Sawchuk. Keon off the boards to Brewer. Brewer let his shot go. Playing into the corner. Keon after it. He's straight down the boards, but Keon comes up with it, and he's checked by Floyd Smith. Ullman to Stasiak. Up the center ice. Up over the Leaf line. A drop pass for Ullman. Takes his shot, and that was stopped. Bob Bond to Dave Keon. Tipped it out at center ice. Pete Goigan over to Bill Gadsby. Gadsby handed it to Keon. Over the line with Bond. Back to Bond. He shoots. The Sawchuk stopped it. Armstrong let it go. And that was stopped by Sawchuk. Keon falls. Puck goes out the center. Carl Brewer shooting it over the line. Sawchuk stopping that. Stasiak shoots it around the boards. It comes back to Bob Bond. His shot was deflected to Keon. Keon back to Bond. Another shot. Armstrong took a whack at it, and Sawchuk came up with it. And we have a face-off in the Detroit zone to the right. 1-0. Howell from Del Vecchio and McDonald at 2:54 has been the scoring play in the game so far. Howell, Del Vecchio, Larry Jeffrey, number 14, along with Doug Barkley and Marcel Pronovo. On the face-off, Stewart was checked. Gordie Howe after it. Passed it out to center ice where Horton stops it. Horton takes a long shot into the corner. It bounces in front, and Sawchuk gives it to Marcel Pronovo. He fell. Havlich passed it back to the blue line, and Larry Jeffrey was after it. Horton beat him to it. Del Vecchio gets it over the line and ends up behind the Leaf goal. Gordie Howe after it. He's bumped, and Stewart goes away on the right wing with Mahavlich. Pass from Mahavlich over the line, and play is called outside at the blue line. We have played 7 minutes and 33 seconds of the first period. 1-0 Detroit. Del Vecchio, Jeffrey, Gordie Howe, Kelly with Stewart and Mahavlich. Horton shot it into the Detroit zone. Behind the net, it goes into the corner. Barkley is hit by Kelly. Pass it out in front of the net. Here's Horton's shot. That was wide. It came right in front of the net, and they wrap it back into the corner. Del Vecchio back for it. Gets away from Mahavlich. Plays it out. Stewart stops it. Marcel Pronovo comes to center. Pass it over the line for Howe. Howe trying to go in on goal. He gets his shot, and it's wide. Going to be a penalty here to the Leafs to Mahavlich. Mahavlich will get a hooking penalty. That'll give Detroit the odd man advantage. They lead in the game 1-0. A hooking penalty at 8:08. see who Detroit sends out. Gordie Howe staying out there. Floyd Smith, Vic Stasiak, Normie Ullman, Val Fontaine. Leafs have Fulford, Nevin, Horton, and Stanley. On the faceoff, back to Gordie Howe. Gordie Howe getting set, takes his shot, and Bauer caught that one and held on to it. Face-off again in the Maple Leaf zone. Stanley, Fulford, Nevin, and Horton trying to kill off this penalty to Mahavlich. Stanley whacks it, and it's going into the crowd. Face-off will be in the same spot. Circle to the left is Johnny Bauer. Detroit play every man up. From the draw, Horton goes back for it, and he lifts a high one that is going down the ice. Val Fontaine goes back for it, number 19. To Gordie Howe. Back to Fontaine, a foot pass for Stasiak, too far. Horton back in front of his own net, flipped it to the blue line. Gordie Howe kept it in. Howe passing it over to Ullman. His shot hit a skate. Gordie Howe, watched by Nevin. Howe centered it out in front. It comes back to Val Fontaine. The shot. It's right in front of the net. Goes to Horton. Horton cleared it, but not out. Normie Ullman takes his shot, and Bauer's got that. Gordie Howe sits down beside him. And the face-off will be in the Maple Leaf zone to the left. This game is coming to you direct from the Detroit Olympia.
Easy to load, easy to operate, easy to own. A Kodak 8 movie camera at Esso dealers now.
We have played 9 minutes and 6 seconds of the first period. 1-0 Detroit. Bill Gadsby let a shot go to hit Keon. Keon breaks away on the left wing with Armstrong over the line. Keon trying to get in, and he was too well covered. There's going to be a penalty here. Play is called, and a penalty handed out to Detroit. Bill Gadsby going to the penalty box, number 4. Pete Goygan thought he may have had a penalty. And it was Bill Gadsby. Gadsby in the penalty box. The teams are even at 5 aside. Mahavlich still in there. Jerry Odrowski's out there for the first time, number 22. Playing with Marcel Pronovo. Val Fontaine back to Marcel Pronovo. Pronovo starts out towards his own blue line. Up the center ice. A pass to Odrowski over the line. Odrowski passed it back, and Keon goes down the ice with Armstrong. Brewer trailing. Keon took his shot wide. Armstrong gets the rebound. Too well covered, and Doug Buckley, number 5, clears it to the blue line. Odrowski's watched by Brewer. Armstrong back at center. Passing it to Kent Douglas, number 19, to Brewer. Over the line for Armstrong. Armstrong's shot is wide. Keon tried to center it in front. He did, and Marcel Pronovo was there to cover up. To Odrowski too far. Brewer going back for it. 9:17, the time of the holding penalty to Gadsby. Here's Odrowski getting his shot. Brewer nearly gave it away right in front of his own net. Val Fontaine, number 19. Passing it back to Doug Barkley, who shot it out to Odrowski. To Val Fontaine. The Leafs have the man advantage. Otrusky over the line outside. Detroit won. Toronto Maple Leafs no score. At the 10:31 mark of the first period. Gordie Howe has scored the only goal of the game so far from Alex Del Vecchio and Packer McDonald at 2:54. Comes back to Doug Barkley, a long shot into the corner. Douglas to Kelly. Mahavlich back to Kelly. Back to Mahavlich. Mahavlich up at center. Over the Detroit line. Shot it to the open wing. Val Fontaine goes after it. Mahavlich steps in ahead of him, but Fontaine fights for it. It's cleared to the blue line. Douglas a pass in front, and Doug Barkley has it. And just clears it out to center ice. A pass for Mahavlich for Stewart. Failed to click. Bruce McGregor shooting it over the line. Kelly. Bringing it up from south. Up the center. Got it over the line. Val Fontaine cleared it, but not out. Mahavlich handed it to Bruce McGregor to Bill Gadsby. Back to Bruce McGregor. Over the line. Stopped by Douglas. Douglas's pass stopped by Doug Barkley. He's over the line. Here's his shot, and Powers stopped that. Kelly is checked by Howe. Howe centers it right in front. McGregor's shot was stopped by Bauer. The puck is still in the lead zone as Alex Del Vecchio trying to center it. Back to Marcel Pronovo right in front for Gordie Howe. And he was stopped by Bauer. Kelly can't get it out. Stewart gets a break. Up with Mahavlich. He's over the line. He shoots it. And Sawchuk stopped it. And Stewart missed the rebound. Gordie Howe to Del Vecchio. Where he goes at center. Turns back towards his own blue line. Now he starts back up again with a pass to Packer McDonald. Takes a long shot into the lead zone, and Stanley's back for it. Stanley to Shack. Off the board. Shack went after it, but Bill Gadsby beat him to it, and the puck was deflected into the crowd. We played 12 minutes, 25 seconds of the first period. 1-0, Detroit. Fulford with Shack and Nevin facing Alex Faulkner, number 12, Andre Pronovo, number 15, Troy Smith, number 17. Fulford takes a long shot wide. Faulkner is checked. Nevin couldn't get his drive. Shack comes up with it. A pass right in front, and Gadsby covered Fulford. And Pete Goygan shoots it off the boards to Andre Pronovo, who cleared it out and down the ice. Alan Stanley back for it. Long pass is knocked back into the lead zone. Delayed whistle as Horton touches it. And since he was going back, they call it immediately. One nothing to score. Favor of Detroit. Bruce McGregor back out on the right wing now with Alex Faulkner, who fell. Horton moves up to center. He takes a long shot that was high. Bruce McGregor flicks it to the blue line and clears it out. Stanley back to Horton. Horton off the boards for Nevin. Nevin ran into Goygan. Goes into the corner. Fulford runs into Andre Pronovo. It's played to the other wing. Bruce McGregor lost it. Stanley took his shot. It's right in front of the net. Andre Pronovo just clears it out and down the ice. Bauer gives it to Horton. Horton. Shooting it off the boards to Fulford. Fulford at center. Takes a long shot that's wide. Sawchuk tips it behind the net. Goygan. A flip pass for Andre Pronovo. He's bumped. Then Keon. Over the line to Shack. Shack tried to center it. Nevin poked at it. Horton moves up on the... takes his shot. It's right in front of the defense. Puck loose. Shack goes after, and he's too well covered. Back up for Alex Faulkner. Long shot. Bauer knocked it into the corner. Faulkner goes after it, tried to center it, and Stanley too far for Nevin. Up over the line for Marcel Pronovo. He ran into Stanley. Up the ice for Armstrong. Gets it over the Detroit line. Shot it into the corner behind the net, into the far corner. Duff moves up, took his shot, and Sawchuk stopped it. Marcel Pronovo for Vic Stasiak, number 11. Way goes a long pass at center by Brewer. Brewer touches it before it crosses the red line, and he's behind the goal with it. Now he's starting out. Pass to Dave Keon, number 14, up at center. Tried to go through, and he tried to drag the puck. Duff moves in, and he found out a shot. Away goes Detroit. Hellman, Floyd Smith, and Vic Stasiak. The three of them are over the line. Stasiak takes his shot. Bauer caught it, but it was offside. Face-off will be outside the blue line. Kelly comes out with Mahavlich and Stewart. Vaughn and Brewer. Howman, Howe, and Stasiak. And then Packer McDonald is coming over the boards, and so is Alex Delvecchio. 1-0 Detroit. 4 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in this first period. Bouncing shot that Bauer had to come out of his net to stop. Carl Brewer to Bob Bond too far. Brewer behind the leap goal. Pass to Bob Bond. Up for Kelly, stopped by Gordie Howe. Howe a pass, stopped by Brewer. Brewer to Stewart off his skate. Pete Goigan cleared it out. Kelly brought it in offside. Four minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the first period. 1-0 Detroit. On the face-off, Delvecchio back to Pete Goigan, who goes into the corner for it. Number 18. Shot it, and it's deflected by Gordie Howe down the ice. It's going over the red line. Touched by Brewer. It'll be icing. So we have a face-off in the Detroit zone. Howe out there with Delvecchio. Parker McDonald. Bill Gadsby. Pete Goigan. Arnon Brewer playing on the defense for the Leafs and up inside the blue line. A shot. Sawchuk had to stop that. Kelly kicked it into the corner. He's too well covered by Delvecchio. Parker McDonald to Gordie Howe. To Bill Gadsby. Bringing up the center. Knocked down by Brewer. Brewer. Pass for Mahavlich. He's over the line. Back to Stewart. Stewart took his shot and hit Mahavlich on the skate. Parker McDonald with Gordie Howe to center. Delvecchio trailing. Back to Howe, and he missed it. Kelly to Mahavlich. Over with Kelly. They're going in, three of them. A pass in front for Stewart. He missed it. Parker McDonald, Delvecchio, and Howe. A pass for Gordie Howe. Over the line. Tried to go around Brewer, and he was too well covered and knocked down. Brewer. Up the center. Too well covered by Delvecchio and Parker McDonald. Now Delvecchio, checked by Bond. Parker McDonald wrapped it over the line, and Brewer has it. Long pass for Pulford. Up over the Detroit line. Pulford took his shot. Sawchuk stopped that. Puck isn't in against the boards. Floyd Smith holds it there for a face-off, and this game is coming to you direct from the Detroit Olympia.
What a value. A Kodak 8 movie camera, $19.99. Esso dealers have it. Don't miss out. Order yours now.
2 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the first period. 1-0 Detroit. Stasiak a pass at center, stopped by Stanley. Hooper takes a long backhand that Sawchuk caught on his arm. Marcel Pronovo, number 3. A pass stopped by Shack. Shack's pass for Nevin. Nevin trying to center it. It goes against the boards. Normie Elman with it. Clears it to the blue line and out. Nevin was knocked down by Doug Barkley, and they have to wait for him to get onside. And he just gets out there and shoots it right back into the Detroit zone. Vic Stasiak, number 11, coming up to center ice. Gets over the line. Pass it to Shack. Shack behind the Leaf goal. A foot pass hit Nevin, bounced in between Marcel Pronovo and Doug Barkley, but he gets it over to him. It hits Stasiak, and Nevin gets a chance. Away goes Nevin to center, over the line. Took his shot, and it was wide. Sawchuk stopping it. 2 Leaf players go after it. Hopeford back to Horton. There's the shot, and that's wide. Clearing pass up for Stasiak, stopped by Shack. Marcel Pronovo to Floyd Smith. 3 of them over the line. Ullman takes the pass. Gets away from Stanley, trying to center it. He was chased out to the side. Vic Stasiak comes up with it, hands it to Pulford. Pulford goes down the ice with Shack. Over the line to Shack. Back to Nevin, and it's offside. Face-off will be outside the Detroit blue line. 1-0 Detroit. 1 minute and 19 seconds remaining in the first period. Face-off outside the Detroit blue line. On the face-off, Keon back to Duff. Duff's shot knocked down by Gadsby. A clearing pass to Del Vecchio. Bond ran into him. And Brewer. Getting over the line with Keon. A pass back to Brewer, and he just couldn't get set for a drive. Pete Goigan, number 18. A pass hit Keon's skate. Del Vecchio takes a long shot. That bounced. Bauer had to stop that one. And Duff off the boards, handed it to Gordie Howe. A shot. Scotty Bauer stopping that, and now it's a chance for Dick Duff. Duff stopped by Gordie Howe. Gets over the line. A pass stopped by Armstrong. Armstrong going over the Detroit line. Takes his shot. Sawchuk stopped that. Shoots it into the corner. Keon goes after it with Armstrong. Armstrong and Keon, but Del Vecchio covering the Leaf player along the board. "23 seconds remaining in the first period. 1-0 for the Detroit Red Wings. Keon with Duff and Armstrong, Bond and Brewer all up inside the blue line. Del Vecchio, Howe, Ullman, Marcel Pronovo, and Bill Gadsby. On the face-off, it comes back to Ullman from Del Vecchio. He goes to the far wing. He's checked. Keon let a shot go, was knocked down by Gadsby. There's a long shot. It's offside at the Detroit blue line. Duff flicked Gordie Howe's stick into the crowd. And that nearly started something. Face-off outside the blue line. Keon remains out with Duff and Armstrong. Douglas and Horton on the defense. Ullman, Del Vecchio, and Howe. with Marcel Pronovo and Bill Gadsby. A pass for Gordie Howe. Took a shot into the corner. Horton takes Ullman into the boards. And there goes the buzzer to end the first period with Gordie Howe coming up with the only scoring play in this game so far. And so at the end of the first period, the score, Detroit Red Wings 1, Toronto Maple Leafs, no score.
Gotcha. This is a Kodak Hawkeye 8mm movie camera, and it's just about the most exciting buy your neighborhood Esso dealer has ever offered. And it's yours for just $19.99. You could expect to pay as much as $35 for a camera of this type. The Hawkeye 8 is the perfect partner to take on holidays, to bring back priceless motoring memories. And it's the easiest movie camera in the world to use. Light settings are made in a jiffy with this handy sundial, and to power the Hawkeye, just wind and then fold away the handle. Sight your shot through the built-in viewfinder and press the button. You know, it's so easy to load and use a child can make movies, indoors or out. You can gather once-in-a-lifetime memories of your children, capture the wonders of nature on your travels, enjoy candid shots of your family and friends. And you can buy this Hawkeye 8 at Esso dealers wherever you see this display, either on the spot or with this handy mail order form. The Hawkeye is fully guaranteed by Kodak, and you can use your Essomatic credit card if you wish. Get it now, your Kodak Hawkeye 8mm movie camera, just $19.99 at your neighborhood Esso dealers. He's right with the times, with more value, more products for you, the motoring shopper.
Good evening, everyone. Frank Selke Jr. in the dressing room corridor at Olympia Stadium. Each of the 6 National Hockey League clubs has a great deal of tradition and history of which they are justifiably proud. And we'd like Ward Cornell now to come in and tell you about the Detroit Red Wings Hockey Hall of Fame. Ward, if you will.
Thank you, Frank, and good evening, everyone. And in this small alcove off the main court of the Olympia, across from the Red Wing dressing room and just down from the visitors' dressing room, is the Hockey Hall of Fame for the Detroit Red Wings. And let's take a look. First of all around the top are pictures of great players of the past. You're seeing now Sid Howe, one of the great players in the early 30s and played up into the 40s. Ebby Goodfellow, one of the great defensemen with the Detroit Red Wings. And moving down below, Mud Bruneteau, who scored a very famous goal in a long overtime, and you'll hear more about that later. And one of the great defensemen of the Red Wing history and the National League history, Jack Stewart, Black Jack Stewart. Down here, some trophies. This trophy here is for the most sportsmanlike member of the Red Wings, chosen by his teammates in the press, and this year it was Parker McDonald who was the winner. This trophy here is awarded for the most valuable player on the team, and actually they're starting to call it the Gordie Howe Trophy because he's won it so many times, and of course he won it this year. These 2 trophies in here are for the Junior Red Wings play. This Trans-Canada Trophy, this large one here in the center, for the outstanding defenseman with the Red Wings each year. Bill Gadsby won it this year. He won it last year. And moving up to the pictures again, we have Bucko McDonald, who was an all-star defenseman with the Red Wings, and he was noted as one of the best body checkers in Detroit history. Bill Quackenbush, another great defenseman. Marty Berry, who was part of a very famous Red Wing line, and then Don Grosso. Moving over here, Mr. James Norris, the president of the hockey club from 1932 to 52. And Jolly Jack Adams, the coach at one time and general manager from 27 right through till now. Down below, Johnny Mowers, one of the great goalkeepers. Sid Abel, a former captain and all-star. And also, of course, now the coach. Here's the Art Ross Memorial Trophy for the leading point scorer in the league, and of course won by Gordie Howe this year, the 6th time. And now we shift over this stick and puck for the 1,000th point, Gordie Howe's stick, and also the puck, the most number of points ever scored in a season. This trophy down here, as well as having a certain amount of humor to it, also has a certain amount of affection. It is awarded to the player who has the most injuries, or who makes the greatest show of injuries during the year. And this year it was given to Marcel Pronovo for his many, many hours on the rubbing table. And as a matter of fact, he has the honor of being the only Red Wing ever to win it twice. Moving up to the pictures, George Hay, Reg Noble, up to the top, Ted Lindsay, and Jimmy Orlando. The trophy in the center is given to the Rookie of the Year on the Red Wings this year by Doug Barkley. Actually, this year's trophy was on the other side, but it was taken away because Doug thought it was his and it wasn't supposed to stay in the Hall of Fame. One of the great forwards of all time, Laurie Orey up top. Another teammate of his was Herbie Lewis, along, of course, with Marty Berry, who was on that line. Berry, Orey, and Lewis. Down below, Doug Young and Carson Cooper, another great defenseman for the Red Wings. And down in below, Honey Walker, the first trainer of the Red Wings, and stayed with them for a great deal of the early years of the Red Wings. Well, we'll have more about the Detroit Hockey Hall of Fame with Frank Selke Jr. and his guest after this message.
Planning any trips? Well, before you take off, don't forget to call in at your Esso dealers and make sure you have everything you need for happy camping. ISO Fuel, for instance, especially designed for outdoor naphtha gas-type stoves, lanterns, and catalytic heaters. Then there are Atlas flashlight batteries and Atlas flashlights, great for car, camp, and cottage. Your Imperial Esso dealer has the right products at the right prices for your car or wherever your car takes you.
Here fighting as to which one is going to stand up on the ramp and be the tallest. Jim, let's saw off right now and have a little bit of a discussion about the tradition which goes into the Hall of Fame here in Detroit. Whose idea was it to establish this memento to the great people who have contributed to the Detroit Hockey Club?
Well, Frankie, it's quite a tradition. Mr. Adams actually is the one that started it. He always backed everything that was mentioned about the Hall of Fame, and it's controlled by the Detroit Hockey Writers Association. Incidentally, they vote every year, and last year they voted Ted Lindsay and Jimmy Orlando, two great hockey players for Detroit in the past, and this year Normie Smith. He was voted in this year, but
Normie Smith is pretty well known to hockey fans in the Montreal area, probably to hockey fans all across Canada, but particularly in Montreal. Jim, refresh our memories with what he did to our good old Montreal Maroons way back when.
Well, Frankie, way back, I can't remember the exact year, but Normie, incidentally, that night stopped 92 shots, and the game went to till 2:25 in the morning, and he had a shutout, and that was the game that Mud Bruneteau scored the winning goal in the longest game in the National Hockey League.
We remember it very well, Jim, with some, a little bit of disgust. After all, we do cheer for Montreal. Now, Jim, you had a lot to do with helping Mr. Adams set up this Hall of Fame as it exists today. Could you tell us some of the things that went into setting it up in the first place?
Well, actually, Frank, Jack was behind everything, as I said before, and anything that was mentioned about honoring these players, Jack was always behind his players when they were finished. He tried to do everything for them after they finished their careers. Fellows like Normie Smith is doing wonderful in Detroit here now. He's a sales manager for a metal company, and all these Hall of Famers, 90% of them are around here today. Fellows like Carson Cooper, who was the chief scout here and one of the best scouts in the business. Larry Orey, he passed away, but one of the fightingest little hockey players that was ever on the Detroit club, and Jack had all these fellas, and Jack was a fighter, and he always liked fighters.
You're very proud of what you have here.
We definitely are.
Jim, if you were to turn around and you could take one of those players who is pictured behind you and put him into that game tonight, which one would you take?
Well, I'd like to take quite a few of them, but fellas like Jack Stewart and Jimmy Orlando would make the Toronto Maple Leafs keep their head up, I'll tell you that.
I would say that your club is making the Leafs keep their head up. This is the best game of all four so far, I would say.
And I have to mention Ted Lindsay. I'm sure he'd come up with a few goals. Said he was a great left winger, and in my book, I think he's the greatest we've ever had.
Jimmy, it's time to go, but I think all of us connected with hockey are very proud of what you people have done here in Detroit. I hope you expand your Hall of Fame. I hope you have a great deal of success in the future.
Thank you, Frank.
Thanks very much. Ward, would you like to step in?
Thank you, Frank. And I have a gentleman, had he been with the Detroit Red Wings ever, I'm sure he would have been a Detroit Hall of Famer, the assistant general manager of the Leafs, King Clancy.
Hello, Ward. How are you?
Well, how are you?
I'm pretty
right
good.
About now with the score 1-0.
That doesn't bother me a bit, Ward. I think that we'll come on and win this hockey game tonight.
Well, now, what were your sort of impressions of that whole period?
Well, I thought it was a pretty good period. I thought the Detroit team are red hot. They have to be red hot when Gordie Howe can get a break like he got there tonight, come down the wing and fired that shot from about 60 feet. and it hit Johnny Bauer on the glove and bounced into the net. This was more or less of a routine stop for Johnny, and the puck bounced into the net, and I don't know, I think perhaps that spurred the Detroit club on a little. When I say they're red hot, they've iced the puck about 4 or 5 times, and it's gone right on our net, so they're playing in a lot of luck, too.
Actually, I was wondering tonight, I felt that the Red Wings were hitting a little bit harder than they have so far in this series. Would you say that was so or not?
I don't think so, Ward. I don't think that they try and out-hit our club. I know that they can't out-hit our club. If they start to hit, why, we can come right back, and we belted a few. Alan Stanley gave 2 or 3 real good checks in there in that period, and Tim Horton, and I want to tell you that this game is not over by any manner of means as yet.
King, how tough is it on a club like when the Leafs came out on the ice and head to their dressing room sort of lined by Detroit fans to sort of give the players a needle? Is this tough on them or not? It's all in good fun, but it's the needle, you know?
No, they don't bother about that at all, Ward. In fact, they wouldn't know they were there, the players coming in. People say things to you, but you never hear them as you're going by into the dressing room. Your mind is all on the hockey game, and they're just thinking about the next period.
Well, now, what about the staying over, the 2-day layoff? When you were in Montreal, you came back.
That's
this
right.
time you stayed where?
We stayed in Dearborn, Michigan, at the Dearborn Inn, a wonderful spot to stay, and it's very quiet, and I know that the players enjoyed it there. This is just what they wanted, a good rest away from everybody and everything, and of course a lot of people looking for tickets, and the players are away and they can't get in touch with them there, which tends to give them a little more time to themselves.
And so you feel that everything's going to be still all right for the Leafs?
I know that Punch is in there now, really giving them the business, and I know that before this thing is over, this Detroit team will know they're in a playoff.
Thank you very much, King Clancy. In just a moment, Bill Hewitt on the play-by-play of the second period.
You're sure to find better cars on better roads, more places to see, places to be. You're sure to find a great new sense of confidence. Drive anywhere, never again, because your Imperial Esso dealer is right with the times. Your Imperial Esso dealer is right with the times.
Ward Cornell again, and if we can shout over top of the crowd, Gump Worsley, our NHL star, back as our expert. What do you think of that period, Gump?
I think it was a very good skating period. Detroit had many chances to have a couple of goal lead, but Selchuk made a great save on a rebound on the shot by Bond. But I think to look for more skating, more hard hitting. I think it's an even game. Detroit maybe have a little bit of the better of the play, but other than that, I think it's going to be a tight game.
Gumper, on a shot like Howes when he's just inside the blue line, and you've had many of them in your hockey career. What is it? Does it just come hard? Does it float? Does it got English? What?
I think that shot there, Gordy missed it, and it dropped. It flopped over, and it dropped and hit Johnny on the bottom of the stick glove, and just fell in behind him.
Are those often the toughest ones to stop or not?
Well, they are, because they're more or less a change of pace. You're expecting a drive, and it ends up like a baseball pitcher throwing a change of pace at you.
And one other question, remember, the other night when we were chatting, we were down, I guess this was in the other series, you were mentioning about how Sawchuk seemed to be down low and down on the ground more. Tonight, would you say he was up more?
I think he is. I think he's standing straight up. I think the only time he did go down was on the rebound on the shot by Bond, and he made a great save on it. I think he's better off the way he's playing tonight than other nights.
Good. Well, Gump, we'll be looking forward to you'll be back in the next period. And now it's up top to the press box.
Teams are coming out on the ice now for the second period, with Detroit leading by a score of 1-0. The Leafs are the first to make their appearance, and will defend the area to my right, wearing their white uniforms. And Detroit will be coming out in just a moment. Will defend the area to my left. The referee, Vern Buffy, number 4. He's out in the ice now, along with his linesman, Matt Pavlich, number 5, and Ron Wicks, number 11. Only scoring play of the game so far has been off the stick of Gordie Howe, a long shot that eluded Johnny Bauer and was too hot to handle. He was given passes from Vecchio and Packer McDonald, and the time of the goal was 2:54. 2 penalties in the first period. Pavlich for hooking at 8:08, and Gadsby for holding at 9:17. Detroit are leading 1-0, and the Leafs outshot Detroit in the first period, 13-12. All set to start the second period now. Hellman out there with Floyd Smith and Vic Stasiuk. Keon with Neff and Armstrong. Martin and Stanley on the defense. Bill Gadsby and Marcel Pronovo for Detroit. All set to go, and the fans are sitting down again now, and all set to go for the second period. And from the face-off, Stanley moves it over to Horton, who gets over the red line and shoots it in. Ends up in the corner. Dick Duff. Stopped by Floyd Smith, Marcel Pronovo. To Floyd Smith, who was knocked down by Stanley. Clearing pass to the blue line, goes out over the line, and Horton gives it to Stanley. Stanley shoots it right back in again. Sawchuk stopping it. Gadsby chopping it for Stasiuk. Stasiuk watched by Armstrong to Bill Gadsby. Back to Stasiuk. It hits Keon, and Horton slaps it over on the right wing. Armstrong couldn't get it over the line. Vic Stasiuk. Checked by Keon, who goes back into his own zone for it. Keon. Up the center. Marcel Pronovo to Floyd Smith. Gets it over the line. Pass it out in front, and Stanley just flicks it to center ice. Doug Barkley moves up with a backhand that bounces wide of Bauer. And Horton goes in behind the net and comes out with it. Tim Horton up the center. A foot shot for Duff that goes wide. Terry Sawchuk out of the net. Steered into the corner. Keon moved up. Pass it right in front. That's a score! Armstrong from Keon, and it's all tied up, 1-1. George Armstrong was left uncovered. Keon put it right on his stick, and he fired it right into the net. Armstrong from Keon. And the Leafs have tied it 1-1. One minute and 17 seconds. George Armstrong from Dave Keon. Gadsby and Pulford mixing it up, and Pulford gets the gate right off the bat. He high stick Gadsby. So the Leafs will be a man short. .25 is the time of the high-sticking penalty to Pulford. Score is tied 1-1. Eddie Joyelle, number 21, has moved out now with Packer McDonald and Gordie Howe, Alex Del Vecchio, and Val Fontaine. Ron Stewart. Bob Nevin will try to kill off the penalty with Brewer and Bob Bond. And the Red Wings go back for it. Val Fontaine, number 19. A pass for Packer McDonald, having difficulties, but gets it to Fontaine and brings it up the center. Up over the Leaf line, and went past Gordie Howe's skate and back out the center. Packer McDonald, Alex Del Vecchio. To Packer McDonald. His pass stopped by Nevin, gets it again, rolls it over the line, and Brewer races after it into the corner. He lifts a high one, it's going, and it's into the crowd. Matter of fact, unusual thing happened. I was just watching the penalty box, and a fan who was sitting down from Pulford rushed up and deflected the puck with his thumb past Pulford's head. Otherwise, it may have hit him. But the fan just rushed up and deflected the puck with his thumb. Here's Gordie Howe. A pass right in front, a shot, and Bauer stopped that off Eddie Joyelle. Bob Nevin can't get it out. Joyelle trying to center it in front of the net. Gordie Howe took a whack at it. He's got it again, trying to clear it out in front. Here he has it again. Gordie Howe, watched by Stewart. Gordie Howe still has it. Takes his shot, and that's wide. Now Fontaine's drive. It deflects across the goal mouth. And Carl Brewer flicks it, but not out. Here's Alex Delvecchio to Joyelle. He fakes the shot, lets it go. It's all around the Leaf net. Playing for the score. Joyelle, number 21. And Detroit lead it 2-1. And a fan throws some colored ink on the ice. Blue. That was a sustained drive. In the Leaf zone. And Detroit go ahead 2-1. .238, Joyelle from Gordie Howe, and it's 2-1 Detroit. And they'll need the scrapers out here again. An egg down near Bauer, and one on the far side gets preference over the ink. Take a while to scrape up all that ink. However, they've got another couple of eggs to go anyway. In the first period, Gordie Howe from Delvecchio and Packer McDonald at 2:54. Detroit led 1-0. Two penalties, Mahavlich for hooking at 8:08 and Gadsby for holding at 9:17. Leafs outshot Detroit 13-12. In the second period, Armstrong tied it up from Keon at 1:17. And then 8 seconds later, Pulford picked up a high sticking penalty at 1:25. And at 2:38, Eddie Joyelle came through on a sustained drive in the Maple Leaf zone. Gordie Howe assisting, and Detroit have taken the lead for the second time in the game. They lead it 2-1. This is the fourth game in the Stanley Cup Finals. Leafs leading in the series 2-1. But this is the second game for the Red Wings at home. The Leafs winning their first 2 games at home. Red Wings winning their first one at home, and now after their second victory to tie the series. There's enough ink on the ice that brings out the wheelbarrow. Out of the lineup for the Leafs tonight, Larry Hillman. For the Red Wings, Roll McDonald, Howie Young, and added to the Red Wings, number 22, Jerry Ozoski. While we have a moment to have a look at the ice surface, which is 200 feet by 83. The largest pro crowd, 15,983 on March the 19th, 1961. Montreal won that one 2-0. And the seating capacity is 12,500, but they're jammed into every nook and cranny here at the Olympia tonight. For George Armstrong, that was his 3rd playoff goal. Gordie Howe's 7th. And for Eddie Joyelle, his 1st. And a very important one for the Red Wings. The attendance is 13,971. 13,971. Looks like they've got it almost all scraped up now. There's another egg on the other side, though, it has to be scraped up. And then we should be set to get underway again. Johnny Bauer had no chance, as you saw, on that scoring play by Joyelle. He made his move, made the first stop, but Joyelle came from the side and tucked the puck into the net. They won't get all the blue stain out of the ice. There's just one left now over the far side where the Detroit bench is. And in the circle to the right of Johnny Bauer. Detroit Red Wings 2, Toronto Maple Leafs 1. And the Red Wings, who had a 1-0 lead, were tied 1-1, and then on the play that just happened that caused all the throwing on the ice, Eddie Joyelle coming through for the Red Wings, with Gordie Howe assisting. So it's Detroit 2, Toronto Maple Leafs 1, and we're all set now to start play again in the second period. Leafs are back at full strength as a result of that goal. Fulford has gone to the bench. And it's Kelly with Litzenberger and Mahavlich, Harton and Stanley, Del Vecchio, Packer McDonald, and Gordie Howe. Bill Gadsby with Pete Goigan. Bauer to Tim Horton. Horton gives it to Mahavlich. Mahavlich coming up the center. A long shot, broke his stick. Litzenberger rolled it right in front, and Kelly missed the drive. Packer McDonald goes back, lost it to Mahavlich. Here's a shot, and that hit Packer McDonald. Played around on the boards to Gordie Howe. He cleared it right on Mahavlich's stick, who gives it back to Stanley. Stanley to Horton. Horton's long shot off the boards. Mahavlich let one go that was wide. Litzenberger races into the right wing, and Packer McDonald, a long pass for Del Vecchio, and Bauer stops it. Pass to Horton. Flip pass over for Mahavlich, too far. Litzenberger gets a hold of it. Flips it over the line. Moves in with a shot. Sawchuk stopped that. Pete Goigan knocks it down. A pass over to Packer McDonald. He puts it up for Del Vecchio. Trying to be offside. And the faceoff comes back into the Detroit zone. Coming up to the 4-minute mark in this second period, Detroit leading 2-1. We played 4 minutes, less 12 seconds. Now the second period. Detroit are leading 2-1. Bob Bond over here for Brewer. Brewer takes a shot that goes into the corner. Doug Barkley back for it. Fulford watching him, centered it out in front. There was nobody there. Nevin hooked it away from Alex Faulkner. Fulford fights for it with Marcel Pronovo. Pronovo stopped by Shack. Shack was bumped by Bruce McGregor. Nevin bumped into Doug Barkley, and Sawchuk steers it back into the same corner. Play is called, and there's going to be a penalty here to Doug Barkley of Detroit, number 5, for holding. Barkley will get a penalty. And that'll give the Leafs the odd man advantage, 6 men to 5. They trail in the game 2-1. 4 minutes and 12 seconds of the second period. Practically for holding. Keon, Duff Armstrong, Douglas, and Kelly. It's cleared out and down the ice by Detroit. Douglas goes back for it. Douglas up the center. Over to Armstrong, and he's checked. Kelly. Pass for Keon. Trying to get in. Marcel Pronovo covers him. Keon centered it in front, and Satchuk covers up. Face off in the Detroit zone to the right. All set to go. Duff back to Kelly. Kelly took his shot. It's right in front. Armstrong took a whack at it. Satchuk is lying down. He may have hurt himself. Satchuk knocked down in front of the Detroit goal. And here comes Lefty Wilson, the tweener, out on the ice. Lefty Wilson is talking to Harry Satchuk. Says he's all right. He may have had his wind partially knocked out of him when he came out of the goal crease. They were jamming in front. Armstrong's shot was wide of the net. And it was then that Satchuk had difficulty getting up. Now he's all right and ready to go again. 2-1 Detroit in the second period. Coming up to the 5-minute mark in 18 seconds. From the faceoff, it comes back to Kelly over to Douglas. He took his shot. Knocked down by Gadsby, and Duff catches the rebound. Tried to pass it in front. Here's Keon with it. Armstrong right in front of the net, and Keon was checked. Cleared down the ice. Douglas back for it. Gets it ahead to Keon. Keon with Duff and Armstrong. Back to Duff. Duff to Keon right in front of the net. Duff shoots it. Oh, and he shot it over top of the net. Kelly, a pass to Duff. Got it right back into the Detroit zone again. Bellefontaine after it. Watched by Armstrong. Armstrong kicks it to Duff. Right in front to Kelly. A shot. Gadsby knocks it down and holds onto it. This game is coming to you direct from the Detroit Olympia.
The right way to run your lawnmower or outboard motor is with Esso Outboard Oil.
We're at the 5:38 mark of the second period. Detroit 2, Maple Leafs 1. Litzenberger, Stewart, Mahavlich, Kelly, and Douglas. On the faceoff, Litzenberger in possession. Back for Kelly. Kelly over to Douglas. Douglas shot one. Knocked down by Gadsby. Mahavlich right in front. Oh, Litzenberger wrapped at it, and it failed to find the target. Kelly to Mahavlich to Douglas, who wrapped it into the corner to Litzenberger. Litzenberger is jammed by Marcel Pronovo. Trying to get it loose, and they hold it there for a faceoff. Face-off in the Detroit zone to the right. Leafs playing every man up. We're at the 5:58 mark of the second period. Martin and Stanley come over the boards now for the Leafs, replacing Kelly and Douglas. Litzenberger clears it back for Horton. Here's a shot, high and wide. He races after it. Hellman beat him to it. Horton whacked it with his glove. It comes out over the line, And Litzenberger brings it right back. A pass from Mahavlich, and it's cleared back down the ice. Doug Barkley is back on the ice. Detroit at full strike. Horton ahead for Litzenberger. Litzenberger shoots it into the Detroit zone. It ends up behind the net. Stotchuk to Marcel Pronovo. Pass for Gordie Howe to Bill Gadsby. Gadsby, Doug Barkley, Elman and Howe. They're over the line. Gadsby to Doug Barkley, and he went by. And Bauer shot it around on the boards for Mahavlich. To Litzenberger, too far. Alan Stanley went after it. And Elman has it. Here's Howe loose on the right wing, and he just failed to get it to him. Elman going in on the left wing. Passing it back for Howe. He's checked by Litzenberger, and Stewart gives Litzenberger a pass with Mahavlich over the line. Mahavlich stopped by Doug Barkley. And Litzenberger was checked, and here goes Howe at center. Over the leaf line. A pass for Ullman. Ullman stops. Passing it back for Marcel Pronovo. Here's the shot, and Bauer stopped that. And Popford shoots it down the ice. It's going to the red line, but it didn't go over. It hit the boards and came back. Ullman. Long shot into the lead zone, and Horton gets it. Larry Jeffrey checked him. And Popford. A pass came out in front of the net. A shot, and Horton gets it. Ahead for Nevin. Nevin checked by Floyd Smith. Bill Gadsby clears it out to safety. And Nevin passes it back for Stanley. To Popford. To Nevin. They're over the Detroit line. Nevin passing to an open wing. Horton moves up, takes his shot. Floyd Smith stopped it with a stick. Floyd Smith trying to get it out. He handed it to Shack. Shack, let a flip shot going. Bill Gadsby clears of the line, but not out. Bob Bond is there. Here's a shot, and that's knocked down. Floyd Smith clears it down to center, past Jeffrey down the ice. Bauer out of his net. Shooting it into the corner. Ullman takes a shot, and Bauer stopped that, and Bob Bond gets the rebound in the corner. A pass to Popford with Shack and Nevin. They're over the line. They're closing in. Nevin takes his shot, and that was stopped by the Detroit defense. Back for Floyd Smith to Larry Jeffrey at center. Up over the leaf line. The shot is wide. Normie Ullman, checked by Shack, who cleared it right to Pete Groigan. Pete Groigan, a Detroit shot, hit Bond. Bond gives it to Nevin. Nevin, Popford, and Shack, one man back. They're going in together. Nevin to Popford. He left it for Shack. Oh, and Stotchuk made the save on Shack from point-blank range. Bond ran into Andre Pronovo. Floyd Smith comes over the line. There's his shot, high over the glass. And we've played 9 minutes and 5 seconds of the second period. 2-1 Detroit, with Terry Stotchuk making a dazzling save on Eddie Shack. Out now for Detroit, Alex Del Vecchio, Parker McDonald, Gordie Howe, Doug Barkley, and Marcel Pronovo. Keon Duff and Armstrong with Vaughn and Brewer. Cleared into the lead zone where Carol Brewer has it. Brewer on the left wing at the blue line. Up the center. He gets the puck away. Doug Barkley knocks him down. There's going to be a penalty here to Detroit. Barkley gets his second penalty in a row for Detroit. Face-off will be in the Detroit zone to the right. Of the second period, Doug Barkley in the penalty box, and the face-off is in the Detroit zone to the right. Detroit 2, Toronto Maple Leafs 1. Out there now, Marcel Pronovo, Val Fontaine, Bill Gadsby, and Bruce McGregor. Keon, Mahavlich, Armstrong, Kelly. Kelly let a shot go. Lost it in his skates. Gets it to Mahavlich. Mahavlich passes in front to Armstrong. His shot went over top of the net. Bill Gadsby trying to clear it out. Bruce McGregor finds an opening and shoots it down the ice. Kent Douglas back. Wrong pass for Mahavlich. Over for Armstrong. Armstrong gets it over the line. Al Fontaine back for it for Detroit. Flips it to the blue line and down the ice to center. Kelly turns for the Leafs. A pass to Keon. Keon up at center, leading a four-man rush. Back to Mahavlich. Mahavlich's pass for Armstrong goes into the corner. Back to Douglas. Douglas takes a shot. It hit Armstrong on the glove. Armstrong back for Kelly. Kelly was checked by Bruce McGregor. It goes out over the line, and Kelly turns. Al Fontaine watches him. Kelly goes up over the Detroit line. He's knocked down by Marcel Pronovo. Bruce McGregor clears it, but not out. Frank Mahavlich getting set. He's getting right in with a shot, and Bill Gadsby fell in front of it, and the shot down the ice. Kelly back for it. Long pass for Litzenberger. Up for Mahavlich. Turns in his own zone. Pass ahead to Litzenberger. Up over the line. Takes his shot. Sawchuk stopped that. Got it to Val Fontaine. Fontaine shoots it down the ice. Leafs go back for it. Detroit leading 2-1. Red Kelly. Pass up for Litzenberger. It's deflected back in, and Douglas has it. Up to Litzenberger. Up over the line. He falls. Harris slaps it, and Bill Gadsby. Long pass for Doug Barkley. He's back on the ice. A pass for Ullman. It goes into the Leaf zone. Ullman passing it for Doug Barkley, and Litzenberger gets it. Stopped by Marcel Pronovo. Shot it right back in again. Douglas, a pass to Duff. Ahead to Harris. Harris goes up over the Detroit line. Pass to Duff. Duff right in front, and Litzenberger missed it. Stasiak. Pass hit Harris's skate. Duff shot it into the corner. Sawchuk out of his net to Gadsby. Shot it down the ice. Over the red line. It touched Bauer, so Stanley has to come up with it. Flip pass for Duff. He flicked it and hit Floyd Smith in the face. And he's cut. Over the line for Stasiak. His shot. Bauer caught that. Floyd Smith goes off for repairs as Stanley turns in his own zone. 2-1 for Detroit in the second period. As Horton tries to get away in the right wing. He's checked. Gadsby. A pass to Normie Ullman. Gordie Howe's loose. Hits over to Howe. His shot hit a leg. Stasiak went after it. Pass it back to Gadsby. A shot. Bauer stopped that. Cleared off to the wing. Howe lets one go wide. Ullman keeps it in. It deflects out to Nevin. Nevin up the center. Gets over the line, and Howe took it away from him. Over for Stasiak and Del Vecchio. Back to Stasiak to Del Vecchio. A shot. Bauer caught it, and there's no further play. This game is coming to you direct from the Detroit Olympia.
For marine products, make SO your first port of call.
We have played 12 minutes and 12 seconds of the second period. Detroit 2, Maple Leafs 1. On the face-off, Hooper, a pass to Nevin. Up with Shack on his left. Nevin over the line, trying to cut in, still has it. Roll it in front. It comes back for Bob Bourne. He takes a shot. Sawchuk caught it. Face-off in the Detroit zone to the left of Sawchuk. Detroit 2. Maple Leafs 1. to go in the Detroit zone. Fulford lost the draw. Alex Faulkner, number 12. Pass for Marcel Pronovo, bumped into Nevin. They jam against the boards. It comes out to Andre Pronovo, flicked it out to center ice. Carl Brewer stopped. Alex Faulkner fell. And Eddie Shack comes over the Detroit line. A pass for Nevin. Nevin was checked. Ran into Andre Pronovo. Here's right in front to Nevin. Nevin shot it wide. Fulford missed the rebound and shot it over top of the glass. Nevin must have missed the net by 5 feet. They have played 13 minutes, 56 seconds in this second period. Detroit 2, Leafs 1. Andre Pronovo, number 15. Trying to bring the puck out. Fulford watches him. Brewer stops it at center. A flip pass to Fulford. Over the line. Brewer. A holding penalty. Gets the gate. Detroit lead 2-1. .1408. 14 minutes and 8 seconds gone by in this second period. Hal Del Vecchio, Packer McDonald, Fontaine, and Joyelle. Keon Armstrong, Horton, and Stanley. Goes back to Fontaine. Fontaine, a back pass to Packer McDonald. To Alex Del Vecchio, ahead to Gordie Howe. Pat Stanley, Howe took a shot. He was knocked flying. Puck was clear to hit Keon. Here's Joyelle. A pass for Fontaine. He passed it out in front of the net. Keon has it. Couldn't get out. Joyelle. Pass off the board. Gordie Howe let it go. Hit Stanley. Gordie Howe from behind the net. Still has it. Passed it in front. Stanley to Horton, and Horton puts it down the ice. Alex Del Vecchio, number 10, back for it. In front of his own net, over to Packer McDonald at the blue line. Up he comes with Joyelle and Howe. Over the line for Packer McDonald. Right in front of Joyelle. And his shot was stopped by Bauer. And Joyelle was right in. Four minutes, 50 seconds remaining in the second period. Detroit 2, Leafs 1. Howe, Joyelle, Packer McDonald, Alex Del Vecchio, and Val Fontaine, Douglas, Horton, Fulford, and Nevin. Howe set for the face-off in Leaf territory. Horton slapped at it, but not out. Fontaine started back into the corner. Horton was checked. Gordie Howe tried to center it in front, and it goes to Fulford. Fulford just finds an opening and shoots it down the ice. Kachuk leaving it for Fontaine. Fontaine, a flip pass to Gordie Howe at his own blue line. Howe turns around. Leading a four-man rush over the line. Del Vecchio stopped, jammed in on the boards, hit by Fulford. Howe watched by Horton. Horton goes after it, flips it down the ice. Back for it, Bill Gadsby. Gadsby, a carrying pass to Gordie Howe. Over to Joyelle. Joyelle up the center, over the line. trying to go through. He was too well covered. Bauer came out of his net. Joyelle is knocked down. Here's right in front of Delvecchio, a shot, and Bauer stopped that. Horton, watched by Packer McDonald, cleared it off the boards to center ice. Clearing pass to Joyelle, over the line outside. Face-off will be outside the blue line. This game is coming to you direct from the Detroit.
It's the right time to spruce up your car with Atlas Polish and Cleaner from your Imperial Esso dealer.
3 minutes and 36 seconds remaining in the second period. Detroit 2, Leafs 1. Back to Bob Bond, over to Carl Brewer. Back to Bond again. Ahead for Kelly. Hit his skate, and he lost it to Fixtasiak, who gives it to Floyd Smith. Flips it over the line. Bob Bond, a flip pass for Mahavlich. Bauer had to give it to him. Mahavlich coming out. A flip pass too far for Lissenberger. Mahavlich gets it again and couldn't get away. Floyd Smith then a pass for Ullman. Ullman up over the Leaf line. He's bumped. Here's Fixtasiak taking a shot. Bauer stops that, and it goes to the board. Litzenberger trying to get it out along the board. Gives it to Kelly. Kelly out for Mahavlich. One man back. Mahavlich over the line. Takes the shot. Passed it. And Sawchuk and Gadsby combined to cover him. Comes back out over the blue line. Bob Bond off the board. Stasiak up over the Leaf line. Takes his shot, and Bauer stopped that. Pass ahead to Mahavlich. Up for Kelly too far. Stopped by Gadsby. He in turn lost it to Mahavlich. Gives it to Kelly. Kelly and Litzenberger going in together. Kelly waits, takes his shot, scores! Red Kelly, let it go, and it's all tied up. 2-2. Red Kelly's screen shot tapped the corner, and it's a 2-2 tie. Now, whether that puck touched Litzenberger or cut in front of the net or not, I can't say, and I'll wait for the official score. You saw it happen. He came in front, but it looked like Kelly's shot caught the right side of the net all alone. Detroit 2, Toronto Maple Leafs 2. Referee Fern Buffy went over to the official scorer to get it straight. Now he's set for the face-off at center. Kelly. Mahavlich and Bond. It's Gordie Howe over the Leaf line. He took a swing at Duff. And Howe and Duff mix it up. And there'll be penalties there. .17:41 was the official time of Kelly's goal for Mahavlich and Bond. The 2-2 tie, and now the teams are even now at 5 aside with Howe and Duff. A pair of 9s in the penalty box. On this second period, penalties to Howe and Duff, and the score is tied 2-2. A 2-2 tie. Armstrong kicks it back to Stanley. Over to Horton. Long shot into the Detroit zone. Keon races in after it. Passes it back to Horton. Horton's shot was knocked down by Doug Barkley, who gives it to Alex Del Vecchio. Up to center. Over the line. Gets away from Stanley. Takes his shot, and Bauer stopped that, and Del Vecchio went flying into the board. Away goes Keon Armstrong to center. Up over the Detroit line. Armstrong shoots it, and a tie into the crowd. Face-off will be in the Detroit zone at the rim of the circle, and the face-off will be made by Matt Pavlich, the linesman. 1 minute and 26 seconds remaining to play in this second period, a 2-all tie. Kelly, Mahavlich, Bond, and Brewer. Alman, Gadsby, Marcel Pronovo, and Andre Pronovo. On the face-off, Brewer knocked it down, didn't see it. Alman hit by Brewer. Bond hit by Andre Pronovo. Has it in the corner. A flick pass to Kelly. Kelly a long pass for Mahavlich. Up the center. Over the Detroit line. Mahavlich into the corner. Stop. Pass it right by the net. Bond shoots it. Oh, and he rifled it high over top of the net. That's a minute to go in the second period. Score is tied 2-2. Face-off in the Detroit zone. Kelly getting in front, knocked it into the corner. Marcel Pronovo, Gadsby was knocked down. Pass over to Andre Pronovo. Up the center. Over the leaf line. On steered him off to the board. Kelly a pass to Mahavlich. Back to Kelly. Coming over the Detroit line. Kelly moving in, trying to pass it in front. Mahavlich clears it back to Bob Bond, and he couldn't get a shot. Back up the ice for Andre Pronovo. Three of them up over the leaf line. Pass back to Ullman, a shot. Bauer caught it and held on to it. "20 seconds left in the second period, a 2-all tie. Face-off in the lead zone to the left. Keon with Armstrong, Horton, and Stanley. Del Vecchio, Parker McDonald, Doug Barkley, and Bill Gadsby. On the face-off, it ends up behind the Leafs net. Horton goes after it. He cleared it around on the glass, but not out. Parker McDonald shot it, and Bauer stopped that with his stick. Keon. A pass to Horton. Back up to Keon at center. He takes a flip shot that Sawchuk stopped. He can't get it out. He just whacked it at the last second as the buzzer went to end the second period, and it ends in a 2-2 tie. Well, it was 1-0 Detroit into the first period. Then Armstrong from Keon at 1:17, Joyelle from Howe at 2:38, and Kelly from Mahavlich and Bond at 17:41. And so, at the end of the second period, the score, the Detroit Red Wings 2, the Toronto Maple Leafs 2.
It's you.
Yes.
I'm glad.
Really?
What kept you?
Busy.
Busy?
Having the car serviced.
So?
Beastly chore.
Why?
Service station after service station.
You could have called.
No time.
Not me.
Who then?
Your SO dealer.
Oh.
Of course.
Why?
I deal with the motoring shopper.
Motoring shopper?
Dependable service, actually.
You don't say.
Top drawer merchandise.
What?
More than ever.
Amazing.
All with the motoring.
Shopper?
You're clever.
Thanks.
SO dealers are too.
Truly?
They sell more than gas Vaseline Doyle,
Like what?
Atlas Glass Cleaner,
Quiet.
Handy Oil,
Joe.
Household Cleaner,
Egad.
Car Waxing,
My word.
Atlas Battery,
Ripping.
Atlas Tires.
Splendid.
Motoring shoppers get more from their Esso dealer.
Interesting.
Esso dealers are right with the times.
Seems so.
Esso dealers make
Go on.
superior father-in-law.
How'd you know?
Daddy's one.
Ward Grinnell again, and happy to have with us as our first intermission guest here between the second and third, the coach of the Montreal Canadiens, Phil Blake. So, what do you think of this one?
Ward, I haven't had a chance to see any of the other games. I saw the first game on television. I've been out west for the other two, but that was a terrific period of hockey. In fact, the first one was very good also. I thought that Toronto had a little bit more of the puck. They've had a better chance to score in the second period, especially George Armstrong, who missed two glorious chances to score, and Shack, who missed a good chance. But I thought that in that first period that Detroit had the better chance to score. It looked as if Toronto were going to run Detroit out of the rink for the first few minutes, but that goal of Howe seemed to upset them a little bit, and from there Detroit took over in that first period. But in this second period, I would say that Toronto had more of the puck and more legs, and they've had the better opportunities to score.
Do you have sort of a feeling about the game now? I mean, you've seen so many and been involved in so many. Do you get a feeling about a game?
Well, having played against Toronto and seen them play that way against us, I have a feeling that Toronto have just a little bit more. But for this game, let's not forget that Detroit club, they've been fooling everybody all year, and they came back in that last game, and they never quit.
So, are the Leafs playing any differently against Detroit than they did against your team? I mean, the same strategy, the same way or not?
No, I thought they played just as well in those two periods they played against us. They played very well against us. Anytime we made a mistake, it was curtains, and they scored a goal. They're a well-balanced club, and they check hard. Right from the goal out, the defense play well. They're a pretty good hockey club there.
Well, now let's talk about yourself. So, at the end of the season, it was reported that you were thinking seriously of resigning. Mr. Selke on our television interview said he hoped you weren't going to, and have you decided?
Ward, I'll tell you why I thought about resigning. I felt that I was just not getting to the players, and after the three playoffs that we've had the last 3 years, I was very disappointed. As we know, we have an atrocious record the last 3 years, taking away the first 5, which I wish we wouldn't, but we've just played bad hockey, and something has to be done. And I had a talk with Mr. Selke, and I thought maybe that with somebody else in there, they'd be able to drive the club a little better, but apparently he talked me out of it. He said that after our record this year, it'd be a pretty poor time to quit. I agree with him to a certain extent, but they certainly will have to make some changes, Ward, because I don't know. We just can't. We've alibied in the first year about injuries when we lost the playoffs. We alibied again in the second year. Now we just can't alibi this year. We just didn't have a good playoff. We've only won 5 games out of the last 3 playoff series, and that's not good.
Well, now, so when you say changes, there's been a lot of talk that maybe Boom Boom is going to be traded. Can you say anything on this?
Well, it's pretty hard to mention any names right at the present, Lord. I would say that there will be some change. I would say that a few of our players that have been with us for 8 years probably could play better with another club, and it would maybe be better for the club and better for them too.
Also, when you mentioned changes, you just finished the tour of the West. Did you see anything out there that you were really happy about?
Not too much, boy. They're playing very good hockey, very exciting hockey, but it's quite away from National League hockey right at the present. And there were a couple of players, but the one guy that fooled me is an old-time NHL player by the name of Nick Mikoski. He, in that one game, he was by far the best man on the ice, but you can't very well bring a man that's 35 years old and has been in the league for that long back in this league. But they had a few young fellas there that wouldn't be surprising to see them in this league in a year or two.
Well, I certainly know that you're going to have some players up there. Changes or no changes, and the Canadiens will always be a strong contender. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you very much.
Now it's up top to Frank Selke Jr.
Thank you very much, Ward, and a pleasure once again to reintroduce to you Howie Meeker and Milt Schmidt. Fellas, I think this is probably the best game of the series so far, and I'd like your comments on the way the play has gone in the first two periods. Howie?
Thanks very much, Frank. Well, the first period, I thought the score ended indicating the play 1-0 for Detroit. Certainly, Sawchuk only had one big save to make, and that was on a rebound off a shot by Bond. He made a fabulous save off Armstrong. At the other end of the rink, I kind of think that perhaps Howe shouldn't have had his goal, but nevertheless, Bauer came through with 3 good saves after that to make up for it. How about you taking the second period, Bill?
Second period was very, very hard fun. First of all, Howie, I think it should be mentioned that it's very, very warm in this rink here tonight, and I'm sure that you can appreciate and I can appreciate just what they're going through down there, and they're perspiring, believe me. But it was a very hard-fought period, I thought. The check-in was very, very close, and what impressed me mostly, that was the defensive play by Bill Gadsby. I think that he probably stopped more shots than Sawchuk did in that second period. He has been a powerhouse out there. And along with Horton. Horton has been playing very well on the quantity defense. And it's going to be anybody's ball game from here on in, and the third period should be very, very interesting.
Let me ask you chaps a question now. There was a piece in the paper today in which Sid Abel said that if Terry Sawchuk came up with a big game for him, that he thought maybe they could go on and win this series. Do you feel that Terry has not played as well as he could have in the game so far? I'm going to ask you both that.
I think that Terry hasn't been as sharp in the playoffs up to the present time, but there are indications occasionally when he has shown his old form, particularly on the save which he made on Armstrong, and I have never seen Terry move as fast. However, I can understand Sid speaking because Terry has always been a real good money man, and I think when the chips are down, why, he'll come through for him.
This goalkeeping situation, Frank, I always like to answer this question like this. That here we have the 6 best men in the world playing goal, and any goalkeeper in this National Hockey League is capable of winning a game by himself. You've seen nights where Jacques Plante is down at the Gumper does it night after night in Montreal, doesn't he?
Certainly, you bet they do.
And I did think, though, that Terry was a little bit lucky in a couple of shots. Armstrong put one over the net, and then Eddie Shack come in and picked up a drop pass by Duff, and it went through Terry and hit the post and stayed out, although he has played very well.
Well, those things happen when you're playing well, though. The puck seems to bounce off the post.
What has also impressed me was on Howe's first goal. Why, I can well imagine how Johnny must have felt on it, but it was one of those things, and it looked as though the puck dropped on it because it was flipping in the air. But it was very noticeable that all his teammates came up to him and they patted him on the pad, say, "Come on, Johnny boy, we're going to get that one back for you." And they got it back, and right now it's a tie ball game. It's very interesting to see the morale, the spirit on a hockey club like that, and it goes a long way.
Let me ask you this, because Milt, you mentioned something before about having been through all of this before, the blood, sweat, and tears and the heat. Howie, you played on the Leafs' great teams when they won 3 Stanley Cups, I think, and Milt, you played on many great Boston teams. One thing that has surprised me so far in this series is nobody has as yet said that Toronto Maple Leafs are one of the great hockey clubs of all time, and nobody's had too much to say about the Red Wings being a great team. Let's have some comment on that.
Well, I don't think you can class them as a great hockey club. At the present time, what have they done? They've won 1 Stanley Cup and finished in first place. You can't compare them to the Montreal Canadiens, who dominated this league for how many years?
You sound like a Newfoundlander, not an ex-Toronto player.
No, I think they have to prove themselves. I think this club is finally mature. You got Pulford and Vaughn and Keon, and this Keon's a fabulous hockey player. Tell me, Milt, has he played like this all year long?
Always. As a matter of fact, Punch doesn't even work him out in practice most of the time. He just lets him rest because he gives every second he's on that ice. And of course, he's not too big, and he hasn't got any weight to take off. He doesn't have any weight problems. But Punch does rest him an awful lot, which rightfully so, because the way he plays out there, and what a beautiful skater he is. Gee, no effort behind it whatsoever. And he reminds me a lot of Oliver from our Boston team. They both skate a lot alike. However, getting back to your question, Frank, I don't know whether this is big class. It's a great hockey club. But let me say this, the Toronto club is big, they're strong, and they're a real good checking hockey club, whereas the Detroit club are mainly a real good skating hockey club, and I think that's just the big difference right there. I think that Detroit started to throw their weight around a little bit, but I don't think they can do that continually throughout the whole game and still have the legs left in the third period.
Thank you very much, Milt and Howie Meeker. Now let's go back downstairs to Ward Cornell.
Ward Cornell with Gump Warga.
They're your brothers and sisters and cousins.
Oh, my family here. What are you going to do?
Gump, instead of talking about the game, because you'll be back to analyze it at the end, some questions that people have asked me about you. First of all, where did the name Gump come from?
Well, in the summer, I went to Otterburn Park. It's about 17 miles outside of Montreal. And I had hair like Andy Gumper stuck up in the back, and a fellow named George Ferguson, who I hung around with at the time, named me that.
So it's been there ever since?
Ever since.
All right, the next question, Gump. There's been a lot of talk this year, and a lot of sports writers have written about it, that instead of the number of goals against you counting for the Vezina Trophy, that it should be a percentage thing. You know, that the percentage of goals, or rather goals into the actual shots made at you. What's your comment?
I'd be all for it, but I don't think it would be fair for the simple reason this is the only honest way that I believe that it can be done, as goals, which are kept in the league office with the statisticians around. Like these fellows who keep shots, they could be padded easily. I don't know if they do or not for me or what happens, but it's too easy to pad shots on
You
goal.
feel that you'd never get an accurate report
Well, this
that
is
way.
the only honest way. Let's put it that way.
Now, the other night after the game, Bobby Hull, Pierre Palat, Harry Howell, myself, and a couple of others were in a bull session. And Bobby Hull made a very complimentary statement about you. He said, you're the only goalkeeper in the league, one of the only ones, who protects a player against the post. Now, what does he mean by that?
I think Bobby means if a player comes in and the play is gone and he trips or something and he's coming in towards the net, that you stick out your leg and you tell him, okay, it's okay, don't worry, you're going to protect him. But I think all the goalkeepers will. But I'll tell you, if the puck is coming, you got to worry about the puck rather than the other team. And sometimes when you go in, your coach will say, what'd you stop him for? Not meaning, so the man will get injured or anything else.
Okay, Gump, thank you very much. We'll be back to pick the 3 stars. And in just a moment, Bill Hewitt in the play-by-play of the third period.
Sky's getting bluer. Sun's getting warmer. That means it's almost touring time. For your motoring vacation, may I recommend heading out on the new Trans-Canada Highway. Almost 5,000 miles of scenic beauty and variety. And for happy motoring, the place to start is right here at your neighborhood Esso dealers. Ask him for an Esso Touring Service request card. Fill it in, mail it, and back will come this complete travel kit containing marked maps, travel tips, where to stay, what to see. Then add your Essomatic credit card and a pre-trip safety check by your Esso dealer, and Canada is yours to enjoy. And here's something to help you with your pre-trip planning. The new Esso Trans-Canada Highway Map, the most complete, accurate, and up-to-date map of its kind. Your Esso dealer has a copy for you. Drop in and get yours now. Use the Esso Trans-Canada Highway Map to help you decide where to go. Then let Esso Touring Service show you how to get there. And wherever you travel in Canada, from St. John's, Newfoundland to Nanaimo, BC, Esso dealers are right with the times, with more service, more value for you, the motoring shopper.
Here we are back at the Detroit Olympia, and the Leafs are just coming out now for the third period. Score is tied 2-all. Scoring plays in the game so far. Gordie Howe scored his 7th playoff goal from Del Vecchio and Packer McDonald at 2:54 of the first period, as the Leafs outshot Detroit 13-12. In the second period, Armstrong dropped Keon at 1:17 for George Armstrong, his third. Then Eddie Joyelle got his first from Gordie Howe at 2:38, and Red Kelly got his first from Havlich and Bunn at 17:41. And the second period ended a 2-all tie. Shots on goal. Detroit outshot the Leafs in the second period, 17-8. Detroit coming out now on the ice. And they'll defend the area to my right, wearing their dark red uniforms, the Maple Leafs in white to my left. Players' benches on the far side. Duff and Howe have 1 second left on their penalties. They picked them up at the 18:01 mark. must be a formality in the penalty box, and they're both standing there, a pair of nines, getting set to get on the ice. All set to go. On the face-off, Duff climbs over the boards. Gordie Howe went out the gate, and away they go. The puck is brought into the lead zone. Stasiak takes his shot wide. Howe is replaced, and Stanley falls. Horton into the corner. Shot it around to the boards to Armstrong. He poked it out to center ice. Doug Barkley to Normie Ullman. Ullman moves up with a pass to Stasiak. He's checked, and Keon goes down the ice for the lead. Up over the Detroit line. Taken out by Marcel Pronovo. Duff centered it in front. It was wrapped back into the corner. Normie Ullman hit by Duff. Duff goes after Ullman. Floyd Smith clears it to the blue line, and Stasiak stopped by Armstrong. Pass for Keon over the Detroit line. Keon couldn't make a play, and it goes back to Stanley, who shoots it right into the Detroit zone again. It ends up behind the net. Marcel Pronovo being watched by Keon. Back to Vic Stasiak, number 11, off the boards to Floyd Smith. He's checked. Doug Barkley hit Duff. Marcel Pronovo, a pass to Stasiak. Watched by Armstrong. Clearing pass on the wing. Fulford on the ice. Horton moves up. Ullman clears it into the lead zone, and Stanley just scoops it behind the net over to Duff in the corner. Duff failed to get it out. Floyd Smith a shot, and Bauer stopped that, and Armstrong a clearing pass to Fulford. For Duff. Stopped by Floyd Smith. Up over the leaf line. Horton goes after it. Along the board. Fulford. Straight up at center. Over the Detroit line. Gadsby takes them out to the side, jams them in on the boards, and Floyd Smith gets the relay. His pass hit Ullman, but Ullman comes up with it. Ullman flips the backhand. It goes to Bauer. And Eddie Shags back for it. Bruce McGregor checked him. Bruce McGregor is then bumped by Vaughn. Goes into the corner. It's cleared out in front, and Foster shot it. And Bauer stopped that. Bob Nevin with Fulford and Shack. The three of them going down together. They're over the line. Back to Fulford, over to Shack, and it didn't reach him. Alex Faulkner over the leaf line. Falls. Fulford ran into McGregor, and they hold it there for a face-off. It was underneath Alex Faulkner, so the face-off comes outside the blue line. Score is tied 2-2. 2-all tie. Played 2 minutes and 40 seconds of the third period. Kelly with Lissenberger and Mahavlich. Vaughn and Brewer. Del Vecchio, Packer McDonald, Gordie Howe, Pete Goigan, and Bill Gadsby. On the faceoff, comes back to Gadsby. Gadsby shoots it into the lane zone. Bauer to Brewer. Brewer to Vaughn. Flicks it out for Lissenberger, too far. Pete Goigan off the boards. Vaughn moves up. Played it right to Goigan again, number 18. Pete Goigan to center. Takes a long shot into the lane zone, and Frank Mahavlich gets the rebound. Right in front of his own net. He's checked by Packer McDonald. Packer McDonald watched by Kelly. He fails to get it out. He falls. And Brewer up with Mahavlich. A long shot goes in behind the net. Mahavlich shot it around on the boards, and Vaughn didn't move up. Vaughn gets it over to Brewer. Brewer puts a long one. That hits the glass. Winds up near Sawchuck. Pete Goigan. A pass down the ice past Litzenberger. It's going to be on the net. Bob Vaughn handed it to Alex Del Vecchio. He takes the shot, and he shot it wide. And the rebound went all the way to center ice. Bill Gadsby passing it off the board. Packer McDonald knocking it in. Bauer stopping it again to Brewer. Brewer being watched by Del Vecchio. Pass to Bond. He was stopped by Parker McDonald. Eddie Litzenberger then has it. Over for Mahavlich. Mahavlich watched by Gordie Howe. Scoops it over to Vaughn. Vaughn up for Kelly. Kelly. Cleared pass for Mahavlich, and Bill Gadsby shoots it out to center ice. Kelly has it again. Up over the Detroit line with Mahavlich. Mahavlich shoots it, and he shot it wide. That ends up behind the net. Kelly is checked, but it goes back to Stanley. Here's a screenshot of Stock shot, and he shot it wide. That ends up behind the net. Kelly is checked, but it goes back to Stanley. Here's a screenshot of Stock shot. Grabbed that one and held onto it. We have reached the 4:36 mark of the third period. Detroit 2, Toronto Maple Leafs 2. 2-all tie. Armstrong, Duff, and Keon, Horton and Stanley. Alman, Floyd Smith, Larry Jeffrey, Doug Barkley, Marcel Pronovo. On the face-off, Duff went after the loose puck. It's in the corners, handed to him. He tried to pass it out in front. Keon has it. Keon, a flip pass over to Stanley. Stanley's shot was knocked down by Doug Barkley. It's played out for Larry Jeffrey, and Horton has it. Off the boards for Keon. Over for Duff. Duff over the line. Too well covered by Doug Barkley, who clears it out to Larry Jeffrey. Up to the leaf line with Ullman. And Keon tried to get it out. Larry Jeffrey took a shot, and that hit Keon, and he covers up in the circle. Keon fell in front of it. We've played 5 minutes and 12 seconds of the third period, a 2-all tie. On the face-off, off the board, Armstrong bringing it out with Keon and Duff. Keon takes the pass, up over the Detroit line. Back to Armstrong, he shot it wide. Stanley moves up with a shot. That's knocked down by Doug Barkley to Larry Jeffrey too far. Horton back for it. Horton flips it out over the line. It's knocked back. He has it himself. Long pass for Armstrong. Over the Detroit line with a shot that's wide. Marcel Pronovo back for it into the corner. Floyd Smith being watched by Duff. Smith. A back pass to Marcel Pronovo. Over to Doug Barkley. His pass out at center ice. Floyd Smith kicks it back into his own zone. A pass to Larry Jeffrey. Jeffrey watched by Keon. He's knocked down. Marcel Pronovo watched by Keon. Tries to get it out. Armstrong is dumped. It's along the boards. Floyd Smith to Doug Barkley. Bring it out to his own blue line to center. Up to the leaf line. Goes through, but it's offside. And sitting down and watching the play was the linesman Matt Pavlich. This game is coming to you direct from the Detroit Olympia.
Kindle fires. Burn leaves. Start your barbecue with Esso Barbecue Lighter Fluid.
At the 6:20 mark of the third period, a 2-all tie. Bruce McGregor, number 16. Past Alex Faulkner, over the line. Bob Bond whacked at it. Here's Faulkner to Andre Pronovo, the shot, and it deflects over to Shack. Shack goes down the left wing, over the line. Here's his shot, and that hit Gadsby's stick and went way up into the crowd. Face off in the Detroit zone to the right. 2-all tie. Fourth game of the Stanley Cup Finals. Developing into a real cliffhanger here in the Olympia. It goes in behind the Detroit net. Pete Goigan, number 18. He clears it to the blue line. Alex Faulkner gets away. Going down the center, up to the leaf line. Still has it. Lets his shot go, and Howard stopped that. Nevin. Long pass for Shack. Over the Detroit line. Here it goes again, and that's wide. Alex Faulkner tried to get away. Fulford went into the boards. Vaughn knocked it in, and play is called. Faceoff goes back into the lead zone to the right. Leafs are called for deliberately clearing it offside, and naturally, when that happens, it goes all the way down into the lead zone and was called by linesman Ron Wick. The attendance, 13,971. Face-off in the lead zone. Andre Pronovo passing it back to Pete Goigan. His shot hit Nevin. He's got a break. One man back with Fulford and Shack. Nevin goes in, and he shot it wide out Gadsby's stick, and Gadsby knocked it into the crowd. Bill Gadsby. Stopping that play at the Detroit line. Deflecting it over the glass with 3 Leafs going in on him. Fulford set for the face-off. Goes loose. Here's the shot. Oh, it's right in front of the net. Fulford whacks at it. Shack gets a whack at it. That hit the goalpost. Right from the face-off. It's back to Bond. His shot is deflected by Sawchuk into the corner. McGregor's hit. Brewer lets one go. It's Fulford trying to center it. And it's knocked by Gadsby over the glass. That one hit the goalpost right dead on. Leaf players thought it had gone in the net, but it didn't. Sawchuk is still shaking his head on that one. We've played 7 minutes and 45 seconds of the third period. Score is tied 2-all. Litzenberger, Kelly, Mahavlich. It's a pass intercepted by Gordie Howe with Packer McDonald. Up over the leaf line. Horton covers his man against the boards. It goes loose. Gordie Howe goes after it in the corner. Trying to center it. Litzenberger covers him. Gordie Howe watched by Kelly as well. Alex Delvecchio shot it into the corner, and Litzenberger has it. He's jammed. Packer McDonald trying to get it loose. Horton moves that. Gordie Howe gets it loose. Gordie Howe trying to center it. Horton watches him, jams him in on the board. Goes into the corner. Mike Mahavlich passing to Kelly. Off the boards and down the ice. It's going over the red line. Marcel Pronovo will touch it, and icing is the call. A 2-all tie in this third period. Face-off in the lead zone to the left. All set to go. Back to Kelly. Kelly hit the referee. The shot. Bauer stops it and gives it to Stanley. Stanley flipping it behind the net. Alex Delvecchio went after it. Delvecchio trying to center it out in front. It comes back to Marcel Pronovo. A shot. And that's deflected wide. Horton can't get it out. Gordie Howe. Back to Marcel Pronovo. Here's right in front to Delvecchio. A shot, and Bauer stopped that. Mahavlich cleared it, but not out. It goes along the boards. Alan Stanley knocks it down the ice. And it goes wide. And it'll be called for icing. This game is coming to you direct from the Detroit Olympia.
Esso Extra Motor Oil. More quality, more value for you, the motoring shopper.
We have played 9 minutes and 10 seconds of the third period. Now then, the Leafs are claiming the faceoff should be outside the blue line. But the face-off will be in the lead zone to the left. Elman with Floyd Smith and Vic Stasiak facing Keon Duff and Armstrong. Goes back to Keon. Keon bringing the puck out. Up the center. Over the line. Going in alone, and he was stopped by Goigan. Then Armstrong tries to center it. He does. Brewer getting set. A shot. Oh, that was just off the target. Brewer lets it go, and he shot it high over top of the net. Stasiak clears it out over the line. Armstrong to Keon. Keon over the line again with Armstrong. Keon for Armstrong. Right in front of the net. He scores! Keon shot it into the net. And the Leafs lead it 3-2. Dave Keon got it loose and slapped it home. And the Leafs go ahead 3-2. And take the lead for the first time in the game. Dave Keon gets his 5th playoff goal. Unassisted. .942 is the official time of the goal. Keon unassisted. Now then, the linesman is fixing his skate. At Pavlich over at the blue line. Stanley talking to him. Out of Maple Leafs 3, Detroit Red Wings 2. All set to go for the face-off. It's slapped back to the Detroit defense. Keep going over to Gadsby. Gadsby up to Alex Faulkner. He's knocked down. Eddie Sack goes back for it. Sack. Long pass for Pulford. Goes to Gadsby, who gives it to Andre Pronovo. Flips it over the line. Stanley flicks it out to Pulford. Pulford up over the line. Closing in on the left wing. Goes to the corner. Took his shot high off the glass. And it goes by Horton down the ice. Alex Faulkner races after it with Horton. Horton gets to it first. Pass it behind the net for Nevin. It's going over the glass into the crowd, and there'll be a face-off in the Leaf zone. We play 10 minutes and 20 seconds of the third period. Leafs 3, Detroit 2. Shack trying to get out on the left wing with Nevin. Up over the line. Shack closing in. Pass it right in front of the net, and it goes all the way out here to Alex Faulkner, number 12. With Bruce McGregor. Up over the Leaf line. He's checked. Stanley let it go. Clears it out and down the ice. Back for it is Gadsby. Gadsby behind the Detroit net. Clearing past the Faulkner, stopped by Brewer. Brewer to Shack. Shack shoots it into the corner. Goigan back for it. Starting to work his way out. Pass it right to Shack. Shack to Pulford. Pulford going in. He shoots it, and Sawchuk caught that. Alex Delvecchio now on the ice with Gordie Howe. At his own blue line. Delvecchio a pass deflected into the Leaf zone, and Litzenberger's in there for it. Litzenberger passed it right in front of his own net. Howe hit the post. Here's that Delvecchio shot. And that goes to Litzenberger again, who handed it right to Gordie Howe. And he hit the post. Here's a chance for Parker McDonald for Gordie Howe over the line, and it's offside. Gordie Howe was handed a perfect setup, and he hit the post. Eight minutes and 27 seconds 8 minutes and 27 seconds remaining in the third period. The face-off is outside the blue line. Leafs 3, Detroit 2. Kelly with Mahavlich and Litzenberger. And from the face-off, Litzenberger lost it to Howe. He's over the line again. Check. Gets it in front, and then it hit a skate and went off to the wing, and Brewer just clears it out. Doug Barkley being watched, but gets away from Red Kelly this time. A pass to Packer McDonald, who was hit by Litzenberger, and there's going to be a penalty there to Litzenberger for dumping Packer McDonald. Litzenberger of the Leafs will get a tripping penalty. Tripping. Minutes and 53 seconds. Now then, Detroit will have the odd man advantage. 6 men to 5. Trailing 3-2. Alman, Larry Jeffrey, Floyd Smith, Gordie Howe, Alex Del Vecchio. On the face-off, here's Howe taking his shot, and it hit a leg. Alex Del Vecchio lets one go, and Stanley was knocked off his pin. Del Vecchio lets another one go. It hits the glass. Here's another shot, and it comes over to Gordie Howe. Here's his shot. That's wide. Over here to Del Vecchio, right in front. Goes back to Gordie Howe. Here's the shot. It hits Stanley. Del Vecchio again. A pass to Gordie Howe. Here's the shot. Bauer stopped that. Another shot. It's all around the Leaf goal and goes to the corner. Stanley couldn't get it out. Floyd Smith from the side. Passing it to Ullman. Ullman back to Gordie Howe. Here's the shot right in front of the net. And it deflects over to this wing, and Armstrong brings it out. Over the Detroit line. Gates back at center. Still has it. Hit the referee in the ankle. Holford is out there now as Gordie Howe goes over the line. Back for Larry Jeffrey. Nevin slapped it down the ice. And it's Sawchuk coming out of the net to cover up. Pass off the boards to Jeffrey. From Sawchuk. It goes over to Ullman. Ullman shoots it in. Nevin clears it to the blue line, but not out. It's cleared over to the far wing for Howe. Douglas took a swipe at it. Clears it around the boards and out and down the ice. 6 minutes and 31 seconds remaining in the third period. 3-2 for the Leafs. A pass at center ice, stopped by Douglas, who shoots it right back in again, and Del Vecchio's back for it. Litzenberger still in the penalty box. A pass stopped by Pulford. Pulford took a whack at it. Ullman gets it, though. It's Normie Ullman, a pass to Larry Jeffrey. Stopped by Nevin. Nevin trying to get in on the right wing. Here's the shot, and he shot it wide as Litzenberger is back on the ice. On pass to Larry Jeffrey. Stopped by Nevin on a relay to Marcel Pronovo. Larry Jeffrey tried to get over the line, and Duff checked his man. Doug Barkley. Long pass for Larry Jeffrey, too far. Bob Bond gets back to touch it, and Detroit are called for icing. This game is coming to you direct from the Detroit Olympia.
Atlas seat belts. More quality, more value for you, the motoring shopper.
Five minutes and 45 seconds remaining in regulation time. Leafs 3, Detroit 2. Sawchuk stopped the shot from the faceoff. It cleared around to the blue line. Bob Bond shot it back. Alex Faulkner breaks it up. Up comes Alex Faulkner. Up to the Leaf line with Bruce McGregor. Here's the shot, and Bauer caught that and held onto it. Face-off in the Leaf zone to the right. Red Wings have Alex Faulkner at center. Andre Pronovo on the left wing. Bruce McGregor on the right. Doug Barkley and Marcel Pronovo. Kelly comes out with Litzenberger and Mahavlich. All set to go. Alex Faulkner got the draw but cleared it down the ice. And Marcel Pronovo goes back for it. Clearing it off the boards for Bruce McGregor. It lands up on Brewer's stick, and he just cleared it into the Detroit zone. Doug Barkley, a pass to an open wing. Bob Vaughn moving up for Litzenberger. Lost it to Andre Pronovo, who gets up over the Leaf line, trying to get a shot, and Carl Brewer gets in ahead of him. Cleared pass for Kelly. Kelly races after it. Bruce McGregor passes it back. Litzenberger moving up. Shot it into the Detroit zone. Mahavlich goes after it. Sawchuk is in there. Cleared into the corner. Bruce McGregor stopped by Kelly. It comes out over the blue line. And up the ice now for Bruce McGregor over the blue line. He's trying to pass it through, and Kelly clearing pass. Knocked over the blue line to Mahavlich. He's got a break with Litzenberger. One man back. Mahavlich shoots, and it stopped. And the rebound went to Andre Pronovo. Away he goes with Gordie Howe and Eddie Joyelle. It goes into the Leaf zone. Bob Bond back for it. Clears it out over the blue line to center. Bill Gadsby to Gordie Howe. Turns at center. Flip pass to Joyelle with Gordie Howe. It's the Leafs trying to get it out. Cleared to center ice, Bill Gadsby. Stopped by Nevin. Nevin is dumped. And Pulford gets it. Back to Brewer. Less than 4 minutes remaining in regulation time. Joyelle stopped by Pulford, is bumped by Gordie Howe. Puck is cleared by Brewer into the Detroit zone. It's going over the red line, and it'll be called for icing. 3 minutes. 42 seconds remaining to play in regulation time. Leafs 3, Detroit 2. Face off in the Maple Leaf zone to the left. Detroit with Alex Delvecchio, Hiker McDonald, Gordie Howe, Eddie Joyelle, and Bill Gadsby. Shack, Pulford, Nevin, Stanley, and Horton. All ready for the face-off. Jack was trying to catch up with Gordie Howe. Now Gordie Howe attacks to the referee. Alex Delvecchio and Eddie Joyelle all in there. Now we're all set to go. Now Stanley doesn't like the way it's going. And they're going to tire each other out talking. All set to go, and from the face-off, Bob Pulford, a flip pass stopped by Delvecchio. Martin goes behind the Leaf goal. He lost it. It's right in front of the net. Packer McDonald couldn't get his shot, and it rolls out over the blue line. Alex Delvecchio checked by Nevin. Pulford races after it. One man back. Pulford takes his shot, and he shot it wide. Stanley let it go, and Packer McDonald comes down the ice. With Joyelle. Shot stopped by Horton, and he puts it out to center ice. Bill Gadsby. He lost it. Pulford gets it loose, and he's dumped. There's going to be a penalty here to Gadsby. Gadsby of Detroit will get a penalty as Pulford tried to break away. And there's 3 minutes. Well, we'll wait for the official time of the penalty. Left in regulation time. 16:52. A holding penalty to Bill Gadsby. So we have 3 minutes and 8 seconds remaining in regulation time. Sawchuk down on one knee over at the Detroit bench. And the action has been hectic. Holding to Gadsby at 16:52. The Leafs have the odd man advantage. They're leading in the hockey game 3-2. This is a torrid struggle, and it isn't over yet by any stretch of the imagination. Some of the fans are starting to leave, but I guess they can't take the excitement. A face-off, when they have it, be in Detroit territory. Matt Pavlich doing yeoman service, acting as an attendant there, scraping up the ice. It's Mahavlich with Litzenberger, Kelly, Brewer, and Douglas. Kelly has gone to center ice. Odrowski and Valfontaine. Mahavlich keeps the puck in, shot it around on the boards. Litzenberger races after it. Pass it back for Douglas. Douglas getting set. There's the shot. It's right in front of the net. Mahavlich hit a whack at it. Sawchuk looked behind him. The puck didn't go in the net. Litzenberger trying to center it. Kelly goes against the boards, and they hold it there for a face-off. Close call around the Detroit net. Leafs 3, Detroit 2. Two minutes and 48 seconds remaining in regulation time. On the face-off, Podrowski is checked. Litzenberger to Brewer. Brewer hit Mahavlich with it. And it went over the glass, so the face-off will come outside the blue line. Mahavlich, Kelly, and Litzenberger. Brewer and Douglas. Litzenberger back to Douglas. Over to Brewer. Back to Douglas. Douglas over the line for Kelly. Stopped by Odrowski, but not thrown out. Mahavlich shot it into the corner. Doug Barkley cleared it around on the boards. It's back to Brewer. Brewer for Mahavlich. He hit the board. Doug Barkley hit Kelly with it. Kelly getting set. He shoots, he scores! Kelly has scored for the Leafs with Litzenberger standing off the goal crease. And it's 4-2. That looked like Kelly with a shot. And that makes it 4-2 for the Leafs. That means they're going to have to scrape off the ice for a moment and gives me a chance to review the scoring up to date. Powell from Del Vecchio and Parker McDonald at 2:54 of the first period. Armstrong from Keon at 1:17 of the second. Joyelle from Howe at 2:38. Kelly from Mahavlich and Bond at 17:41 to tie it up 2-2. Then Davey Keon unassisted at 9:42 of this third period to make it 3-2. And now Kelly has scored, or looked like Kelly when he shot it. Whether Litzenberger touched it or not, it's hard to say. We'll wait for it officially on those close-in plays around the net. And it's now 4-2 for the Leafs. Waiting for the official announcement, Vern Buffy, the referee, is over at the timer's bench. Getting very warm here in the Olympia. Unassisted. Now then, the referee has gone back to the timer's bench. We're at the 17:45 mark of the third period, with the Leafs leading by a score of 4-2. Goal was scored with Gadsby in the penalty box. .17:45. Kelly unassisted, and for Red Kelly, his second goal in the playoffs. He scored 2, both of them tonight. A lot of the fans are starting to leave, but as we all know, this game is never over until the final buzzer. 4-2 for the Maple Leafs. Keon, Duff, Armstrong, Stanley, and Horton. Alman, Del Vecchio, Howe, Andre Pronovo, Eddie Joyal. On the face-off, it goes back to Armstrong. Armstrong to Horton. Off the board for Keon. He tips it over the line. Joyal shot it out. Del Vecchio is watched by Armstrong. Alman passed it right in front of his own net. Play is called as a delayed whistle. And the face-off will be outside the Detroit blue line. 2 minutes. 3 seconds remaining in regulation time. Toronto 4, Detroit 2. Bauer is yelling because there's paper on the ice down at his end. Keon set for the face-off with Ullman. Tries to get it over the line. Del Vecchio passed it into the corner. Joyal didn't see it. Goes back for it. Having difficulties. Armstrong shot it right in front of that. And Alex Del Vecchio comes up with a number 10 to Joyal at center. Tries to go through. Horton rolled it out again, and Del Vecchio back for it. Alex Del Vecchio clearing past to Gordie Howe. Offside. Alman went over the blue line. One minute and 40 seconds remaining in regulation time. The Leafs 4, Detroit 2. Army Elman looks up at the clock. On the faceoff, Pulford gets it back to Brewer. Brewer to Bond. Bond moves up with a pass for Pulford. Pulford shot it over the line, and Andre Pronovo and Gordie Howe go back for it. Howe overskated the puck. Then gets it handed back to him off his skate. Clearing pass out at center, nowhere near his man. Brewer moves up, and he takes a long shot. The Sawchuck stops. Eddie Joyal goes behind the net. Stops there. Clearing pass, hits Shack's stick. Brewer wraps it back, and it's called offside at the blue line as Pulford was coming out. 1 minute and 12 seconds remaining in regulation time. The Leafs 4 and Detroit 2. All set to go. Pulford back to Shack. Shack over to Bond. Bond's pass for Pulford was deflected back to Joyal, number 21. Eddie Joyal trying to get over the line. Stopped by Shack. It comes back to Bill Gadsby. He clears it in. Bauer stops it. Bob Bond in the corner. Shot it around. Del Vecchio lost it. It's along the boards. Evan can't get it out. Del Vecchio keeps it in the corner. And Carl Brewer's back there for it. A pass for Shack. Gordie Howe watches him. Then Bob Pulford with it. Trying to get it out. It's still in there. Here's Eddie Joyal, and he was checked by Nevin. Nevin shoots it out for Pulford. Pulford races down the ice. Takes a shot, lets it go. Sawchuck got a piece of it, and it goes into the crowd over the glass. And there's exactly 25 seconds left. 25 seconds remaining in regulation time. Toronto Maple Leafs 4. Detroit Red Wings 2. Carl Brewer up in his own zone picking up papers. It's Litzenberger, Mahavlich, Kelly, Douglas, and Horton. Alex Del Vecchio, Gordie Howe, Eddie Joyelle, Bill Gadsby, and Normie Ellman. Lining up for the face-off. Face-off in the Detroit zone. Gordie Howe was talking to Del Vecchio and Joyelle, so... On the face-off, out to Mahavlich, a shot. Sawchuk stopped that. It's right in front of the net. Kelly trying to get set. Took his shot, and that was stopped. It's still in the corner. Detroit trying to get it out. 12 seconds left in regulation time. Joyelle up the center. Over the line, Mahavlich steps into him. The puck bounces out and down the ice. There's 3 seconds left. Del Vecchio goes back for it. He gets set. Distance right to Mahavlich. There's the shot. He shot it in the net, but the game is over. And it ended 4-2. Now then, the Leafs player skates on the ice. Sawchuk took exception to Mahavlich letting it go, but he didn't know that the buzzer had gone. Sawchuk still talking to him. I don't think anybody heard the buzzer because that cannon cracker went off. Game is over. It ended 4-2. Power down there talking to Sawchuk. So now then the two teams are leaving the ice. There's 1-0 Detroit into the first period, 2 off the end of the second. The Leafs scored 2 goals in the third period to come through 4-2. So the final score of tonight's game here, it's the Detroit Olympia, Toronto Maple Leafs 4, Detroit Red Wings 2.
And bush and sand spreading out across the land, roads where the sun beats down all day, where the muskeg drops away, and just one thing that the men all know, there's 21 miles to go. Stone that's close must pave this road, take the endless wear and load, make a surface frost won't spoil. Send that stone to Imperial Oil, they're the men to lend a hand when new roads must be planned. They'll find the asphalt grade that's best and put that pavement to the test. When the heat goes up, how well will it hold? Will it crack in the freezing cold? Will it crack? Will it crush when they add the load? Can they make it pave that road? Well, Imperial Research finds the mix to make that stone a solid fix. Make roads that'll last through snow and sun till many long years are over and done. Imperial Oil helps new roads grow, and there's many new miles of road. New road.
Imperial Oil, doing more research than all other oil companies in Canada together.
Works are now with Gump Worsley. And Gump, your 3 stars. Well, the first star I picked Dave Keon for Dave plays real well. He skates well. He started up the game for Toronto in the Detroit end, and this is a good way that the team takes off from him the start of the game. You can tell the way the game is going to go. And Dave scored the winning goal and plays real well. I picked Bill Gadsby for my second star. I don't think I've seen Bill play a better game. Even when he played with New York, he played real well. My third star, I picked George Armstrong for his all-around work. He scored a goal. He killed penalties with Dave Keon, and I thought he played real well.
Any honorable mentions, Gump?
Yes, I'd have to say that most of the Detroit defense played well. Red Kelly, of course, for his 2 goals. The only thing, the Toronto defense weren't up fast enough on the play. I think this is a big thing that hurt Toronto tonight, too.
And Johnny Bauer had a pretty good night. Would you say, Gump, or not?
Well, they're always good when you win, Ward, when you're playing goal.
And Frank standing by now with our number 1 star.
Thank you very much, Ward. Davey, come on in. Some cheers and some boos, Davey. A great hockey game and maybe the key win of the series for the Maple Leafs.
Well, I hope so, Frank. If we can go back to Toronto and play well,
I think we can beat them.
Davey, you've been scoring a lot of key goals for this hockey club all season. You did it in the series against Montreal. This is the second big one that you've scored in this series. You seem to score an awful lot of them from right in close to the crease. I'd like you and Gump to talk about that a little bit because I think you probably got some on him. How did you get that one tonight?
I didn't score it. I'm not sure it was Stacey Okerman who scored it. I was trying to bring the puck across in front of the net, and I couldn't get right across, but the puck got across, and the back checker beat the goalie, and I think it hit his leg and went in the net.
I think it's just straight determination that he does score them goals, Frank, on Davies' part. Continuous skating and chasing the puck around. I think this is why he gets a lot of these goals from close in.
I hope I don't get too many on you.
Well, let's hope not anyway, Dave.
Davey, you're going back to Toronto. What do you think of your chances of sewing up the series on Thursday night?
Well, I don't want to make any predictions, but we'll be out there trying.
I would think this was the toughest game of the series so far. Would you not agree with me?
Yes, I think so, because when you have a lead and the other team comes back and ties it up and then wins, it makes it a lot tougher, especially in your home rink.
So you're confident that you can go back and make a real game of it Thursday night?
Well, we'll sure try.
Thanks very much, Davey, Gump, and Ward. And here are the statistics on tonight's game. The shots on goal, the Detroit Red Wings had 40, the Toronto Maple Leafs 33. The series standings, Toronto has won 3, lost 1, and Detroit won 1 and lost 3. So the final score in tonight's game, the Toronto Maple Leafs 4, the Detroit Red Wings 2.
We hope you have enjoyed this season of Hockey Night in Canada. If you have, then I'd like to recommend that you show your appreciation by doing business right here at the Esso sign of confidence. It represents Imperial Oil. It also represents the Esso dealers, agents, and distributors serving your community. This hockey show is their way of collectively thanking you for your patronage or inviting you to join the millions of Canadians who have come to count on their quality products and services. Throughout the year, they stand ready to provide more value for you that is right with the times. Until the next game of this final series between Toronto and Detroit, this is Murray Westgate, on behalf of Imperial Esso dealers, agents, and distributors, wishing you good night and happy motoring.